Good evening and welcome to GlacierTV. This is the PolarGT, the 4th week. Teams have travelled from Interlagos, Brazil to Mid-Ohio, America for 7 and 8. Norby Kiss currently leads the championship, but he has a grid penalty to contend with. I'm Dan Blake, and alongside me this evening we'll see Will Vincent and Marius Golombek. So Mid-Ohio, one of the tracks on the iRacing service which some like and some don't. There's a lot of undulating, there's a lot of hills, a couple of tricky corners in there as well. And to explore the track further and to give you a further explanation, here's Will Vincent with the GlacierTV track guide.
The Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course is a racing complex set just outside the village of Lexington in the state of Ohio. Now, this 2.4 mile, 15 corner racetrack really challenges the drivers, and even though you have 3 long straightaways, you've got a very difficult middle section of the lap with tricky elevation changes and blind apexes. The drivers really have to pay attention and get into a good rhythm. Some drivers love this place, other drivers hate it. Scott Dixon, driver for Target Chip Ganassi for example, loves this racetrack, and even when he's having a bad season, he always seems to be able to step it up when they come to this racing complex. A number of series is run here, including the NASCAR Nationwide Series, the Eyes on IndyCar Series, and the American Le Mans Series. As we start to take a look at the racetrack, you notice just how narrow the front straightaway is. They'll use this for the finish of the race and for standing starts as well. Rolling starts, however, will be on the exit of turn number 2. Turn 1, 90-degree left-hander. You can use the curb a little bit on entry, use a lot more on exit. You see also there, the pit exit is on the inside of turn number 1. Now you're down onto a semi-long straightaway. Before you approach turn number 2, the keyhole, you want to get yourself a good apex into this corner. Passing opportunities are available here, so you've got to make sure that you take a good line, but also get a good run out of the corner, because now you're on to the fastest part of the racetrack, the back straightaway, which also includes turn number 3. If you look to the left, just on the apex of turn 3, you'll see the flag stand, which is where they do the starts for rolling starts here at this racetrack. Before you come down now into turn number 4, this is where it starts to get tricky. The China Beach Complex. You'll start with a pretty much 90-degree right-hander. Use the curb on the inside just a little bit, then you want to swing that car all the way out wide to get yourself a nice apex for turn number 5. And this time, you want to hold that car to the inside for turn number 6 to make sure you get yourself good momentum to the final part of this complex. Immediately, you're into the S's, turn 7 and 8. You also can't see the apexes here very well. You've really got to know this track before you get there. That yellow wimble strip on the outside, you can use that, and then you're down into turn number 9 and 10, Thunder Valley. A short straightaway, just to breathe a little bit as you come under the Westfield Insurance Bridge before you'll make yourself a right-hand flick and then a left-hand turn down into turn number 11. All American racing tracks love to have a carousel, and this is no exception. Turn number 12, the carousel will lead immediately into the final corner of the racetrack, turn number 13. Get yourself a nice tight entry into the carousel so you can take a wide exit into turn number 13, and that is a lap in the books at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Complex, one of the trickiest tracks that these drivers will deal with all season long. Thanks for listening. Hello, welcome back to the Proto Ice $1,000 Cup Super Saturday. It's a PolarGT one, that's the one I'm on. But hey, Dan, qualifying taking place at the moment. We're keeping a look at the times, but as this track guide says, you know, this is a very, very difficult track, and these drivers are going to struggle here to really hit their limit because it's so easy to just mess up one corner, go a little bit wide, and it's game over.
Seen that in the qualifying session at the moment, that some of the drivers pushing the absolute limit and finding and going beyond that limit. So just think even in qualifying they're showing that mistakes are quite easy to be made really.
And we've got ourselves a little bit of time before we go green flag racing for the first of today's heats. Don't forget, for those of you who have not been a part of PolarGT before, then we'll have 2 heat races. The first one will be a 30-minute standing start race. Then the second will be a 35-minute rolling start with an inverted 20-car field. The rolling start race will actually be like real life, and that will start on the exit of the keyhole, turn number 2, as the cars work themselves down towards turn number 3. We noted it in the track guide. Just as you come through turn 3, they see that there is a flag stand up there, and we'll be doing the race start from there. And Dan, that will make things a lot easier for the drivers, because turn number 1 on a rolling start, when you're already up to speed, it can be very dangerous when you're going too wide.
Turn 1 and 2, especially at the start of the race, we've seen before many problems there before. So the honorary starter, Mr. Will Vincent, will start them as they go down on the back straight for turn 3 and turn 4, and I think we'll see the car's a bit more orderly that way. So it's a good decision by race control.
Who is this Will Vincent guy? But I tell you what, this track as well, you know, you've got chances to make moves, but the second race today, we've seen so far in PolarGT that we've had drivers being able to get up, 10, 11, 12 positions on heat number 2. Today it's going to be a lot more difficult. You've really only got about 3 or 4 overtaking opportunities, and you're going to really have to work for them. The biggest one will probably be either into turn number 2 or into turn 4, so coming into the keyhole or before you come down into the China Bend complex. And for heat 2 today, we talked about how important it is to have 2 good finishes. I think today is going to be the most critical one of all of that.
Definitely, especially with, as you said, you've got to pick your opportunities very, very well, because you're not going to get many of them. So anyone who can get positions up here will be in the second race. You'll do well for the hard charger, Will, but also, this is, as you said before, Will, this is probably one of the harder tracks to do it on.
So we've got ourselves about 7 minutes before the times will start filtering through from race control here. And say there's 2 qualifying sessions going up at the moment. The drivers have a total here today of 4 laps in the space of 15 minutes to try and get their fastest one. Having a look at Dave Geelink, actually, he's on his a lap right now. Evan Maillard has done 1 lap, he's working on his second. Having a look at Dave Geelink, though, he in the IronX Racing car, we've seen how good IronX Racing have been in the McLaren MP4. However, I don't know, he's struggling just a little bit for grip as he works himself now down towards Thunder Valley once again. These cars, they're going to be on the ragged edge in qualifying, and I think it's going to be one of those tracks here today when they're going to have to make sure that they get everything. In fact, as Geelink goes off track there, and he will abort his run. I was about to say that you're going to want to get good qualifying for Geelink. He's now going to have 1 more lap to try and get that job done. Having a look at the prize pool for this series, don't forget it's $450 cash to the race, to the series winner, $225 cash for second place, $125 for third, cash prizes all the way through down to 5th place, and then big thank you to the guys over at igpmanager.com. They're presenting prizes all the way from 6th through 10th, and a couple of iRacing credits chucked in there as well. And we've also got ourselves a hard charge award and a $225 lottery. Drivers who have got penalties for this race: Remember, Planboat will get himself a grid penalty, and Brendan Hobart has a grid penalty. Yoni Hagner a grid penalty. Same with Norby Kiss, Emil Spindell, and Evan Maillard. And for some of these drivers, Dan, they're going to have to race number 2 pretty much twice, coming through the field on 2 separate occasions.
Yeah, Norby Kiss, our championship leaders, have to tread very, very carefully. We've seen in these PolarGT races that at times they can be quite destructive, so Norby Kiss will have to show a degree of patience if he's going to survive on 2 occasions today.
And so the times are starting to filter through. We'll get full confirmation in about 5 minutes time of exactly who is where in the battle for qualifying for heat number 1. What we can tell you, however, is that Christian Shimczak has done a time of 1:20.109. He's the fastest of the guys running in Group B. Dave Geelink is 3 tenths of a second back in that group, and Rocco Barome did a 1:20.444. Dom Doohan and Chris looks like he's having a good day actually in that Team Redline number 7 machine. He is at a time of 1:20.671. He has 1 more lap remaining, as does Dave Geelink. But for Shimczak, what a time, a 1:20.109, one of the fastest times that we've ever seen at this racetrack.
Enzo Benitez not far behind him either. He's done a 1:20.175, so it's staggering times coming. As you said, Will, drivers have really found the sweet spot with the cars on the track, and I think we can see some great racing at a very fast pace today.
And we talked to a couple of drivers before this, and they're saying they could do 4s, 5s, 6s. Alexi Loma said that his fastest lap was a 0.7. But Shimzak, if he can actually maintain that pole position, it's going to be probably a bit of a walkover for race number 1. Of course, so that 34 car will then likely start in the 20th position for heat number 2. So it's going to be interesting to see what will happen to him. But Benito as well, you can't discount him because, you know, he is a very strong driver, especially in GT cars. And I think, especially in the first couple of laps, if we can put that pressure on Shimzak, those two can put away. They're a pretty interesting race for heat number 1.
You're saying about we've got a qualifying time here. I was sorry to interrupt. Philip Hildebrand is on a 1:19.8.
Wow. That's 3 tenths per second faster than Shimzak has gone. And we'll get a confirmation of these times in a couple of moments. But for Philip Hildebrand, the first driver ever to go into the 1:19 on this track in this car, that's just blisteringly fast.
That is just, as I said before, absolutely staggering. Hildebrand, he's currently lying in 3rd place in the championship, and a qualifying time like that is going to do him no harm whatsoever. He's going to be at the front end for the first race. This is where they really want to be. Nobby Kiss, as we said before, the grid penalty, starting near the back of the field, is going to have a few problems, but Hildebrand has got a perfect opportunity here to gain some points back in the championship.
Indeed, and we're having a look at race control. It looks as though the checkered flag is now out. We're going to get our confirmation of the results. They'll be coming up to us very, very shortly. In fact, we should get them in the next 2 minutes or so. But Philip Hildebrand, Kushma Shimzak, and Enzo Benito, they look like they're the guys to beat. But Nobby Kiss, he just has the hope that in one of the heats today, those 3 drivers have issues. But also, for Kiss, he needs to get himself into the top 20 in race number 1. And that's going to be pretty tough for him to do if the field is as close as we think it is.
Seems like they are very, very close, which is good for the racing, but as you said before, it's very crucial for Nobby Kiss. If he doesn't get in that top 20, he's going to find himself back in the pack yet again for race 2. He doesn't want to be in that position again.
He would not indeed, and of course, for those of you who aren't new to PolarGT, heat number 2 is going to be a 20 car inverted field. We can now confirm that Philip Hildebrand will get pole position for this race. Nobby Kiss actually would have started second, but let's not forget he has a grid penalty. He did a 1:20.063, so he would have started in second. He's being relegated to the rear of the field. Christian Shimzak qualified in 3rd, but will start in 2nd with a time of 1:20.108. Enzo Benito qualified in 4th, and he will start in the 3rd position, a 1:20.175. Then Marcus Girac, about a 10th and a half behind Enzo Benito, a 1:20.312. And then Dave Geelink, Rocco Barone, and Sven Glatzel, they are the next of the drivers to qualify. And then Alexi Aloma, Dom Duhan, and then you have Jeremy Cullum and Christopher Volker Jr. So they are pretty much your top 10. Nobby Kiss, a good qualifying, but he'll be starting from the rear.
He's got pace, so that lap by Hildebrand, though, just to put it in perspective, everyone is so close. He's got over 0.2 of a second on his nearest competitor. That really is domination. But Nobby Kiss, as I just said before, he showed he's got the pace. So if he can stay out of trouble, I think he probably will manage to get himself quite a way into the top 20 in this first race.
Indeed, yeah. And we're just having a look through the number of drivers who have set a qualifying time. That is 30 drivers who have set a qualifying time. So a smaller field here today on Saturday. But what this means is Nobby Kiss will only really need to gain 10 positions up if he's going to get himself to the point where he's in the top 20. So not going to be as difficult for him today as been previously. But of course with Kiss, he's going to have to be very careful for that traffic.
Yeah, as I said before, he's going to have to show a lot of patience. He doesn't want to be making a silly mistake or a rash dive bomb on somebody, which could see him get damaged and have to pit and realistically see him out of the race. So he's got to be very patient. You'll know from qualifying that he's quicker than the vast majority of the drivers in front of him, and as we said, with a reduced field of 30, Nobby Kiss will more than likely get into that top 20. It's just a case of how far up he goes.
Don't forget that you can keep in contact with us on Twitter all race long. Use the hashtag GlacierTV if you'd like to stay in contact with us. I'd like to give a shout out to Trish and Alfred Also to Jalmari Reptilania, I cannot pronounce your name, I'm really sorry. He is currently driving under the influence of influenza, unfortunately, so I hope that he feels better later on in this race. Shout out to Wells Edwards and David Hidsey as well. But we're not that far away before we go green flag racing for heat number 1, Dan. Who are you looking forward to seeing today?
I think the Team INEX drivers are going to be strong here. They won the Sims Team Championship during the week, and they've proven that as a team they're very quick, but as individuals that'd be interesting to see just how they work. I don't think they'll be working together, obviously, with it being a individual competition, but I think there's INEX drivers. So I think Dave Geelink is second in the championship. He's only 16 points behind Norby Kiss. So by the end of this first race we could actually have a new championship leader.
So race control just working through, making sure that all the guys who have got penalties will be starting from the rear of the field. Of course, the biggest one of them is your championship leader, Norby Kiss, who will be starting from the rear of this field for heat number 1. Other people starting from the rear as well. Remember Palumbo, Brendan Hobart, Yoni Hagner, Emil Spindell and Evan Meliard. We will try and talk to Yoni once he's finished on the race control, and we'll ask him the important question. You have so many drivers starting from the rear of the field. Who starts out front from them? Is it based on qualifying time still, or what is it based upon? I'd also like to welcome Marius Gottenbeck. Hello, how was dinner?
Hey guys. Yeah, I've been carefully listening to your talk already, and it sounds like we've got an interesting grid once again, and I think it should especially be very interesting on this track, and you said it, a couple of strong guys ahead, and there's definitely going to be a lot of battling for the pole position here.
You didn't answer the important question. How was dinner?
Dinner was perfect, and I thought you would mean that I didn't ask who I thought was going to win, but I think, well, that's a bit early to tell now.
I think it's going to be interesting here today, of course. Both these races, I think you can't really predict a winner for the second one. You're going to have to argue that Hildebrand in race number 1, being that dominant in qualifying, has the clear early advantage. So it's going to be interesting for him. So we're going to run through confirmation now of the qualifying times. And these, of course, does not take into account the penalties. Philip Hildebrand, he'll be starting this race from pole position in that very fast car, 1 minute 19.81 for him. And then I say he qualified in the second position. He'll be starting this race from the rear of the field. That is Norby Kiss. He did a time of 120.06. But I say he'll be starting from the rear. Christian Shimtrak will be starting in the second position, even though he qualified in third. And Enzo Benito will be starting in third. And then it will be Marcus Girac, Dave Geelink, Rocco Barone, Sven Galazzo, Alexia Loma, Dom Duhan. They are your top 10, Marius. Some very good drives out the front once again.
Yeah, once again, you have to say that it just goes for the whole strength of the field. Hildebrand on pole, Kiss in second, Simchak in third. And even if you'd look all the way down to top 10 with Duhan, Eloma in 10 and 9, there's just so much good drivers. And you see people like Paul Ilbring down in 17, Evan Mayard in 21, and these drivers usually belong right on the front rows. It just shows one mistake in qualifying, you can't really afford to do any, and it's just going to put you down a whole lot of rows, and you're going to find yourself all the way outside of the top 10.
And that's important as well, because, this is a track where passing is going to be more difficult than we've seen at other times in the season. But it's also one where qualifying is probably harder than all season. So while some drivers, they might not spend as much time on a qualifying setup, putting more attention to the race, here, Marius, you're going to have to really focus on that qualifying. Some drivers really did. I'm wondering whether Hildebrand wanted to lead this race from the front. I'm interested to see how his overall race pace will be.
Yeah, I'm confident it will be strong at least. I think it's definitely a good strategy to get good qualifying position, a good starting position out here. Mid-Ohio isn't really known as a track where you can overtake a lot. There's definitely some overtaking opportunities coming down the long straight. You get a lot of slipstream. You can actually overtake at the end of that. It's been worse with prototype cars or F1 cars, sorts like that. But it's still going to be very difficult, especially when you're in the front, you get a good run out of turn 2, and you're just going to create that little bit of gap which helps you to keep your position. So I think starting from pole here, Hildebrand has the best chances to get a race win here. He's definitely got the pace, he's shown us that in the past races, and I'm confident he will at least have a strong show today.
So ladies and gentlemen, we would like to welcome you once again to PolarGT here from Mid-Ohio. With Vincent Dan Blake, Rob Cost, Marius Gottenbeck in the booth for 2 races here today. This is the 4th round of the championship. This is heat number 1 footage is now up on your screen. We'd like to give a shout out to a couple of people. First, to IGPmanager.com, prizes for drivers all the way from 6th place all the way through 10th in the championship. So a very big thank you to them. Also to iRacing, not only for the simulator, but for also providing prizes. Go to iRacing.com right now and you can get yourself half price off your first year's membership. That applies, unfortunately, only to new members and also to our friends over at ETV Live as well. Dan, getting ready to go racing in 4.5 minutes. We've got 2 drivers stopped on the racetrack right now. That is Alexia Loma and Alexia Loma and Yoni Haugen. Were they having a conversation in their car right there?
I think they're actually practicing their standing starts. We're probably also having a bit of a conversation with this. Dan, hey, how you doing, mate? Let's put some rubber down.
It's an interesting thing, actually, you know, because pit road is a very different surface to what we get on the racetrack here. So these drivers, you know, they're going to have to be careful. You know, standing start for heat number 1. I'm going to bring Rob Cuss into the conversation here. We talked about how heat number 2 starting on the back stretch in between turns. Well, in about turn 3, for good reason, because of the fact that turn 1 and rolling start is so treacherous. The standing start is just as bad.
Yeah, I think that's probably the safety measure, as far as I can tell, but we've got a big grid here today, and with way over 30 cars. We're gonna have a bit of a trouble on the main straight, especially because the cars only come out of the last turn, and they're already approaching the start-finish line, so if you're in 10th position, you might make it up to start-finish when the lights go green and the leader just sets away. But if you're all the way down in 20th or 25th, you're not even going to see when the cars ahead accelerate, and that's been a big problem in the official series. If you were in a lower class, for example, if you're in the Grand M racing, for example, you're always going to find yourself in a difficult spot. So even if you're involved in the lower class, you might not see the lights, and therefore, yeah, just get to struggle on the start. But it seems like a good decision here. The mid straight, the long straight, like I call it, is quite long, like the name says, and it should be sufficient place for the drivers to get a good start.
And once again, qualifying results up on your screen. Drivers, one more time, who will be getting a penalty for this race? Norby Kiss, a penalty for him. He's the most important. Amanda Palumbo, Brendan Hubbard, Yoni Hagner, and turned out everybody out they all have a penalty for the next race they enter. And that, of course, is here today. I'm going to bring Rob Cuss into the conversation as well. Rob, this is the shortest racetrack that we've been to all season long. So, it's going to be traffic coming into play, really, for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. Lap traffic, slow traffic as well, because, you know, people do like to drive around with damaged cars. Mid-Ohio is not the easiest track to pass on. It's going to be very, very difficult. Could lead to some fun and games and shenanigans for us to commentate on. I hope so. It should be. They've been entertaining all season, so this one I think will be even better.
And as I say, we've got ourselves about 3 minutes before we head over to the grid. At that point, I'm going to ask who's going to win this race. First of all, Marius, I'm going to start with you.
I knew this question was going to come. Well, I think Philip Hildebrand definitely looks confident today. He's been showing a confident pace all season long, and generally, before a very strong driver, so I think he's got the best shot in this.
Dan?
I think if Hildebrand, if his race pace is good as qualifying pace, then for a good shot, I wouldn't count out Enzo Benito. We've seen how strong he is in this car, and also in the Williams FW31, he's a class driver. I think Enzo Benito will be in contention as well.
Rob, who's going to win?
I was going to say Enzo Benito, because he's brilliant. But it's tough. Rock Baroni won't be too far back, I think, either.
You didn't actually give us a proper winner there, but I am going to go for race number 1.
Enzo, there you go.
Shimjack. I'm going to go with the number 34 machine. Don't forget, live timing for this race will be available all race long. Or if you head over to isobc.org/live, and also keep in conversation with us on Twitter throughout the race as well. Just use the hashtag GlacierTV. Checker flag will be out in air in about 15 seconds time. We're going to head over to the grid for the first of today's races. I'm going to ask one more question to you, Marius. How many people is going to be wiped out on turn 1? Remember, race controls had a big verb word for the drivers before this race.
Well, compare this to other tracks like Spa, for example. Turn 1 shouldn't be such a big issue. It's more of a 90-degree long sweeping left-hander, so it generally fits two cars side by side very easily. But it has always been a critical point, and even if you pass that, you're going on to turn 2. I think a certain amount of people will still be involved in some start crashes, or maybe even brake on the grass, trying to avoid everything, go wide, something like that. I just hope there's not going to be a big crash, because even if you're in the back, you're obviously in for the long race, and not to have yourself wiped out in turn 1.
And some of the cars towards the rear of this field, Rob, very quickly, they actually are not even starting in the final corner. They're starting halfway through the carousel. That is Joni Hagner towards the rear of the field.
Yeah, it's going to be hard and frustrating for them to start from back there, but we'll see. I don't agree with Maris. I think we're going to lose about 9 cars in this corner because it's going to be carnage, but that's my opinion.
So then, to run through your top 5 drivers, Philip Hildebrand will be starting from pole position, Christian Schimdrack in 2nd, Enzo Benito in 3rd, Marcus Girac in 4th, and then Dave Geeling will round out your top 5. Light going on the iRacing.com gantry right about now. They'll stay on between 5 and 7 seconds of racing for 30 minutes. Lights go green. We'll go. I tell you what, Schimdrack getting a very good start there in the 2nd position. Hildebrand looking as though he was sleeping just a tiny bit as they work themselves down in turn 1 for the first time. Benito trying to slow it down the inside. Both the top 2 cars getting a little bit slowing down in turn 1. Are people through a K? It looks so. In the first 20 drivers they are. They'll head down to the keyhole for the first time in the battle for the race lead. Hildebrand was under pressure from Schimdrack there. He'll survive for the next corner. Benito looking very fast as well. Jerick will stop back down into the 4th position as they work themselves down into trying to bend for the first time in this race. Hildebrand your race leader, Schimdrack 2nd, Benito 3rd, Jerick 4th, Geeling rounds out your top 5.
And Jirac had a poor start at the back of the field there. He lost almost down to Dave Geeling in turn 1. Geeling on the inside, then trying to defend his position in turn number 2. But Jirac was able to get his position back and remains 4th.
Right now you've got
The car is spun off further down the field. It is the car. One of the Mazda is spun off coming down. It was just as they came in through the turn 4 or 5, the China section. It was a yellow and black car which went right, trying to get an identification on it as it comes slowly round.
I'll tell you what though, meanwhile Evan Melliard, he's going side by side in the battle. Right now, of course, Melliard is all the way down the rear of the field. He's on the outside lines to come down to the carousel right now, trying to work on Martin Asher. He will get the job done eventually. Have a car going towards pit road. That's Glenn McGee. I think that he actually jumped the start there. Melliard was not able to complete pass on Martin Asher, so they stay where they are for the time being. The number of drivers we need to keep in contact with right now. Norby Kiss, he is running in the 21st position right now, so almost already into the top 20, which is important for that reverse grid. Goodwin at the end of the first lap has got a lead of about 6 seconds over Schimdrack, but Schimdrack right now in a great battle with Enzo Benito in that battle for the 2nd position. The Inex Racing 05 car on the inside line, he'll have the advantage as they come down into China Bend corner. Rob Gus is going to complain about passing time. Schimdrack goes off.
Didn't see that one coming, boys. Oh, that was silly. They didn't give each other any room. It was like racing a lone route. Made a fantastic start. He's already up a few places. Up 3 places. The match took advantage of that. He's looking very racing.
So it was Ricky Farage who was the spinner there. Christian Schimdrack now running down in the 6th position on the racetrack. We'll get a replay of that momentarily. But Hildebrand is your race leader. Benito now up into the 2nd position. But like the iron car of Marcus Girac, Dan, he's actually looking really strong right now in that 3rd position.
Marcus Girac right at the back of Enzo Benito is in a good position here, because if Benito can make a challenge on Hildebrand, Girac should be able to follow him through if he's close enough to the back of Benito. They can both go do together.
Meanwhile, Anthony Loma is right in the thick of the action as well, currently scored in that 5th position. You will notice that Aloma has very good straight line speed here today. He's taken a very risky setup for the first of today's heats, to try and work through traffic there, as a lot of cars are actually sideways almost through the keyhole, Marius. Aloma good speed. Let's go back to that incident with Schimdrack and Benito, however. You mentioned the fact that Benito dived down the inside into turn number 2. It looks like a racing incident, but Schimdrack loses himself 4 positions on track.
Yeah, I wonder if it really was a racing incident. It really started in turn 2 already, where Enzo Bonito came from all the way behind Christian Simjak, not even on terms of overtaking really. So he came from behind him, started the dive bomb down the inside. Simjak had to dive to the outside to avoid him, and they exited the turn side by side. And Simchek, of course, a bit surprised by that, trying to defend his position, and then Bonito tries it again into the third turn, and then makes it stick, but of course Simchek is not going to give him any room after the move in turn number 2, and that's what he's been paid off for, a hit from Enzo Bonito, all the way sent down to place number 6, and a little bit of damage, I think, for both cars.
Yeah, indeed. We're having the replay up on your screen momentarily, and it was down into the China bend corner. Just as they come into it, it looks as though that Shimtrak was able to work on the outside line. Then the two came together. I have to argue that Shimtrak actually turned in a little bit too much there on Enzo Bonito, because Bonito was actually holding it all the way down to the inside. There's not really many places he could go, but Retaliatory Driver, we are not the ones to decide that right now. I tell you what, however, it's a big lockdown. Marcus Jurgen into Bonito. Jurek is down on the inside line. I think Benito lost it in the keyhole just a little bit there. Now Jurek will have the inside line as they drive it down towards China Bend once again. Benito is faster in a straight line. It looks like he might just clear Jurek. Late on the break will be Jurek, and it looks like he will try and dive down to the inside. Next corner right hand, contact once again. Benito still on that inside line. He needs to get it done here. He will keep that second position for the time being. Close racing. They managed to survive it there, but that is putting now, what, a 5-6 car pack in the battle for the second position.
7 cars, a 7 pack. They're all racing. It's massively brilliant racing. Side by side, great respect from both drivers. Just giving enough room. Just a little bit of contact, but rubbing the racing. As we also had Lomas. Benito's made a mistake again. And Aloma's sitting back there. I reckon as soon as he clears D-Link, he's going to take these balls up.
I'll tell you what though, Philip Hildebrand, as they come past the track once again, already has a 2.8 second gap on the racetrack between himself and Enzo Benito. He is driving away right now as Benito and Jurek battle for that second and third position.
Yeah, and that's exactly the advantage you get from starting from pole position. He's just going to break free right from the start, got a good start, didn't get involved in any incidents up ahead, and now has got almost a 3-second gap to Enzo Bonito, and he's able to extend that further every lap now, because he's going to get pressure from Marcus Girac. Enzo Bonito in second position, that is, and Girac, may not forget, the teammate of Hildebrand, so that's going to play into Hildebrand's cards, as Girac is looking to get the second position in the first race.
Meanwhile, Rocco Baroni, this is in the battle for 6th, 7th, 8th position on the racetrack, right there in it as well. Almost goes off as they come down to the China Bend corner, Dan. This is very close racing, and as we said, passing can be difficult. Sherrod's only trying to make one move, Barone's been involved in a couple of passing opportunities, but the three drivers need to get through the field so far. Then the guys start to move the field. Maillard now up in 18th position, Robin Kiss now in working in 19th, and Palumbo now working in the 21st position on the racetrack.
Yeah, so 2 out of the 3 have already found themselves in the top 20. We said before that it was crucial for them to be in the top 20. Maillard P18 and Nobby Kiss P19, so Nobby Kiss and Maillard will be hoping to get through. I reckon they could probably get into the top 10, maybe about 11th, 12th, but somewhere around there I think they won't be too disgruntled with.
I tell you what though, Marius, these guys are running like there is no tomorrow right now. They are really pushing every single corner, every single lap. Let's have a look a little bit further down the field in what is essentially right now the second pack. And you've got Dom Duhan actually, as Zane Glaxer and Rocco Barone once again getting very close together on the racetrack. Dom Duhan is leading what is essentially the second pack. They're not as close together as your first pack are. You've got Dom Duhan in 9th, Chris Duncan Jr. in 10th, James Cullen in 11th, Anthony Selling in 12th. And right now, it looks like Selling is catching Cullen, he's catching Duncan, also catching Dom Duhan.
Yeah, and that's exactly when you're caught up in the mid-pack situation here. You might have a couple of cars behind, you might have a small gap to the rear, whatever. However, you're gonna look to the front, and that's exactly what Dom Duhan is doing at the moment, as he's only got about 1.5 seconds to the front, and that's already place 8, and from place 8 on to the first position, it's nearly above 5 seconds only. That's yeah, almost 10%, almost 30% in this race. So even if you're all the way down in 9th position and 1 second behind, you might look towards gaining another position. A little mistake, it can cost you up to 2 seconds per lap. That's what we've seen at the very front of the pack here, as in fact Enzo Bonito puts in another stellar 1 minute 20 lap time. So except for Girac, he's the only one posting 1 minute 20 in a race. First 2 laps from Hildebrand, in fact, have been 1 minute 20s as well. But at the moment he is struggling, and he's lost 5/10 the last lap and 4/10 in this lap.
Meanwhile, Sven Glatzel have been riding on board of him. We're trying to see as he goes a little bit sideways there through the keyhole. He's been trying to hunt down Rocco Barreau in this car. And we're just trying to show you just how difficult it is to close up to the rear of the car ahead and actually find a spot to make that pass. But right now, Benito, he has now started to pull away, as Mario said, from Marcus Girac, trying to close down Philip Hildebrand. So it looks as though that we could have ourselves an interesting battle for the race lead before too long. Last time by, Enzo Benito a 120.911, Philip Hildebrand a 121.319. But Dan, meanwhile, while this is all going on, you still have Alexei Aloma all over the rear of Dave Geeling in the battle for the 4th position, and also Zimchak looking racy. He wants to get up the positions that he lost on lap number 2.
Yeah, we're looking on board here at Alexei Aloma. He's got Dave Geeling's rear quarter of the car firmly in his sights. This is a good battle between these three. You've got Geeling, Aloma and Simchak, and as we said before, Aloma is quicker down the straights. He's got to try and make that count. But also on that last lap there was a incident in turn 1 involving Kasper Volker Jr. He made a mistake going out the last corner, and Evan Mario...
Simchak spun it, sorry, he spun it. He's going to be off the track, he keeps it going there. Sorry to interrupt you there, Dan. And this was down into turn 1, I have no idea. In fact, looking at the replay immediately, it looks as though that Simchak just caught the side of the car on the grass as he braked down into the corner. There's not very wide white lines here. Simchak 2 wheels on the grass, he tried to put the brake down. He is so lucky that car spun when it did. He is off the track. He's fallen all the way down into the 19th position on the racetrack. Replay up on your screen. Rob, that was crazy.
Yeah, just overcommitted to the corner and stuck it out on the white line and game over. Very reminiscent of Gerhard Berger doing that. Doing a similar thing into the corner in a Grand Prix. It's easily done, as soon as you touch the grass, it's game over, and especially on this track, the ice, but the grass is like ice.
Yeah, the ice is not like ice because we of course are in mid-Ohio. Very warm climate here actually. Track temperature 78 degrees, a northerly wind of 2 miles an hour here on this 2.225 mile racetrack. But Aloma still all over the rear of Dave Geeling in battle for the race lead, however. Enzo Benito close that gap once again down. 3 tenths of a second last time by, 2 tenths of a second this time by. Benito, Inex Racing on a charge, trying to cut down Hildebrand in that Team Allian car.
Now he's got rid of the intentions of Marcus Girac. He's got one intention only, and that's to try and get that lead off Philip Hildebrand. Before, he may have had to go a little bit defensive because Girac was quite racy. He did have a little bit of a nip on the back of his bumper going through the keyhole 1 lap, but now Benito has freed himself from those shackles. He's now going after Philip Hildebrand, and I think this will be a fantastic battle for the lead when it eventually does happen.
Meanwhile, Anthony Rosselli, the battle for the 10th and 11th positions on the racetrack. He's been working all over James Collin in the 56 machine. It looks like Rosselli's going to get a good run as they come down into China Bend once again. He's going to have to go to the outside line in the radical number 70 car. He will try and take the outside line to this corner. He doesn't get the job done. He would have had the inside line. Then down into turn number 5. Anthony Rosselli on a charge right now in that new livery Radical Steel Series number 70 machine. James Collin running in the 10th position. Whilst this is going on, Rob, they're losing time to Daniel Jr. and Rob Newman ahead.
Yeah, that's an example of fighting, and now they've got the freight train behind them. So kind of like need to knuckle down and not race each other. And just let they're both quick drivers. Just let drive line, don't make a pass and try and catch the guys in front. Then make the move once you've caught them up.
Let's have a look at the lap times in the battle for race leaders. It's now down to 1.2 seconds on the racetrack. Philip Hildebrand's last 4 laps, a 121.3, a 121.2, a 121.2 and a 121.3. Enzo Benito, however, he has done a 120.9, a 120.9, 120.9, last time by a 121.0. Those 4 laps, however, separated by just 15/100ths of a second on the racetrack, and of course, Dan, the next 2 laps will kept the draft of Hildebrand for about a lap and a half or so before he gets that dirty air. Benito, right now, is flying.
Well, you said before the race that it would be a case of Hildebrand can keep his pace up to qualify, but Enzo Benito is proving that he's got pace as well. Further back in the order, you have Anthony Maselli trying to make another move on James Cullen. Not quite successful this time, but this is a massive train. There's contact between the two there. The manacles. Anthony Maselli's going into the back of Cullen. And Cullen's going to drop right down now to about 20th position. That's coming up behind Yoni Hagner. But there's a bit of contact there going into turn 5.
Yeah, literally just gets spun around there, does Cullen by Anthony Maselli. This is down into turn number 5 on the racetrack. Maselli had a much better run from turn 4, however, and that time, James Cullen getting a little bit loose in the corner, and that just led the training action there. Cullen then got bumped all the way back. The car's formed to a point. He managed to get back onto the racetrack eventually, but now way down the field. Pretty much at the rear of the field in that 56 car, running in the 22nd position on the racetrack. The battle for 20th right now, that is going to actually go to Yoni Hagner. He will be, as he comes past the track, the car scored in the 20th position. Of course, that means he will score pole for heat number 2 if it stays where it is. Let's check back in on the battle for race lead. Philip Hildebrand now to 7 tenths of a second. That gap between himself and Benito. Benito has slowed.
Nobby Kiss and Tara Darby have collided, as I said before. Nobby Kiss will have to show patience. When Danny and Sai go into the keyhole, contact, and now Kiss is going to be out of the top 20.
Yeah, and it was a late dive in there by Norby Kiss right at the last second. He's trying to work through a train of cars actually, and he saw a gap that just kind of closed in front of him. But Kiss then was actually running down to the curve, trying to all by himself there, pretty much his own incident. He's now fallen down into the 21st position on the racetrack. Norby Kiss having a horrible day, Tim Shimshak having a horrible day as well right now, and that is going to mean that race number 2 is going to be incredibly interesting if it stays the way it is. Terry Delberg, however, is out of the race, and we have a huge pile of cars now, starting from Andreas Valentis in 11th, Paul Ilbrink 12th, Ronald Laniotto 13th, Evelyn Maillard actually in the 14th position, right on the rear of Laniotto right now as they come down into the carousel once again. And these 5 cars, they are literally separated by tenths of a second on the racetrack, Rob.
Yeah, it's a crazy close battle. Some cars are running different wings, so they're losing out in the corners, gaining on the straights, and it's madness, sheer madness. But brilliant viewing.
Brilliant viewing indeed, and right now we are approaching the halfway point of heat number 1. In fact, we've just passed the halfway point, 14 minutes and 20 seconds remaining on the play clock. And Maillard actually, I think he's going to get a good run out of this corner in this battle for position with Stefano Laniotto. Let's see whether he can try and hold that car. Of course, Laniotto is getting the draft from Paul Ilbrink ahead already. And you see Laniotto actually making 2 moves there. Race control might take a bit of a dim view to that. He blocked the racetrack twice, and Maillard goes a little bit wide. He touches the left rear there of Stefano Laniotto. He'll keep it on the racetrack for the time being, but Maillard really is fighting in this battle for 13th and 14th position on the racetrack. We need to turn our attention though, boys, to this battle for the race lead. Benito now just a car length behind Philip Hildebrand as they come past the track. This gap is going to be measured in inches, no longer feet.
And Benito really has to work the last couple of laps. He's about a second and a half behind when we last saw, but now right on the rear of Hildebrand and keep making his move, maybe coming into the keyhole. He's got a good line and good momentum, and Hildebrand's defending, but Benito's not going to take no for an answer. Danny and Enzo Benito has taken the lead in this race.
So Enzo Benito, at the start of this race, it looked for a moment that he could almost have been out. He is now your race leader with 13 laps to be complete at the line. Rob, we've got a new race leader, and Hildebrand looks like he was fast out the blocks. So I'm going to go back to what I said in qualifying. It looks as though he was going to be the guy to beat. He was a full 3 tenths of a second faster than anyone else in qualifying. Racetrack, however, he just not got it.
No, he doesn't seem to have the speed at all. I think Timo Ivinen has cracked the whip on the Team INX and promised Enzo some daylight, some time in the sun. So he's gone, yes, I'll have it, and goes.
Meanwhile, Rocket Marone once again all over the rear of Alexi Loma. Loma's actually fallen off one behind the rear of Dave Keeling once again. We talked to Alexi before this race down. He said he's going to run a lower wing setup than the guys behind him. And this looks like in this middle part of the race, it's going to hurt him just a little bit. As also we have now Yoni Hagner right on the rear of Martin Asher in the battle for 16th, 17th and 18th on the racetrack as well.
Loma's doing too badly in the fifth position. There's not going to be a bad finish for Alexi Loma. He's currently lying outside the top 10 in the championship, so Alexi Loma, this is solid 5th place for him, so as long as he can a bit once a couple of those on the grass there, but just as long as Alexei Lehman can keep where it is, I think he'll be quite happy with the second speed.
Having a look at Evan Malliard right now. In fact, we're going to try and go on board with him this lap. He's currently scored in the 14th position on the racetrack in that 08 car. He's hunting down once again Stefano Laniotto in the battle for the 13th position, but you can just see the train of cars that are ahead of him right now, Rob. And for Malliard, he's going to have to be careful. He's going to have to pick them off one at a time, try and find gaps to slot down the inside rather than try and make too big a bold manoeuvre.
Exactly, he's got to pick and choose his move. Picks it in the wrong place, he could undo all his hard work that he's had to do in this race. So you've got to pick wisely, just size up the guy in front and look very slower and just get a good run. Maybe on an exit of the corner is a better way rather than on entry.
And for Malliard right now, he is trying to work out the positions that he lost, of course, because he had a grid penalty at the start of the race, putting him to the rear of the field. I'd like to welcome all of our viewers once again to heat number 8, round 4 of the PolarGT $1,000 Cup here on GlacierTV. And Dan Blake along for the ride for both of today's heat. Benito right now has a 1 second gap in the battle for the race lead. He started this race in the 3rd position. He's now leading it as Malliard looking down to the inside as they come down into turn number 1. Almost there. Malliard almost getting a little bit wide here. Just gets a big wiggle on the exit of the corner. This is going to hurt him all the way on that run down into the keyhole. Rocket Jerk scored in the 3rd position. Dave Geelick in 4th. Alexei Loma in 5th. Rocket Barone in 6th. Sven Glatzel in 7th. Dom Duhan in 8th. Christopher Jr. in 9th. And Anthony Maselli will round out your top 10. Right now, he's Morby Kiss on the bubble guys in the 20th position on the racetrack. But in fact, he just goes past there James Collins, so he'll move himself up into the 19th position. Morby Kiss now up to 19th, and James Collins down into the 20th position, Dan.
Second fight back for Norby Kiss. He was actually up into about 16th, 17th position. He had that little clash and turn down and dropped it down. And now he's got to try and do all that hard work for a second time in this race. But Cullen didn't seem to want to let it go very quickly. We're going into the corner, but Norby Kiss is able to pull away, and Norby Kiss's next target is going to be Emano Palumbo.
And of course, Palumbo also had a grid penalty in this race as well. But with less than 10 minutes to go in this race, Benito really putting up a gap now. Also looks like that Giro's been able to gap Geeling for the time being. He's been able to gap Alexei Loma. Rocket Barone, however, let's turn our attention to him in that number 1 Faraja Azura racing car. And it looks as though that Barone is all over the rear of Loma once again. He's going to try a late manoeuvre, surely not down into the keyhole. But Barone has been sat behind Loma for a couple of laps and just not been able to find a way past Rob.
Yeah, he just can't seem to find the gap at all. He's looking and he's bobbing and weaving. Doesn't want to overcommit because obviously he doesn't want contact. But he's got a good run now. He's going to look down the outside.
I tell you what though, if actually Barone just waited another half a minute, he's going to go very wide down that one Loma to keep the position. If Barone actually started that manoeuvre and did the good old famous start right at the last moment, he would have had the inside line. Because Loma was running the middle of the racetrack. Barone chose to go to the outside line. He could have actually slid down the inside there. So Barone, in everything, I think right now, he's just trying to find a way past, being a little bit too aggressive, not thinking his maneuvers through. So he will stay in that 6th position for the time being. Of course, Sven Glatzel is not too far behind as well in that 19 car. Let's turn our attention now over to the battle for the 9th and 10th position on the racetrack. This is carrying on. Chris Damon Jr., Anthony Rosselli in that battle, the 60 and the 70 cars respectively, Dan. And these two are putting on a great battle right now.
Yeah, Damon Jr. and Rosselli, two other names who are distinguished in the iRacing GT. Chris Damon Jr. has got to be a bit careful though. He's received a warning in the last race of contact with Jarno Matikainen, so he's got to maybe affect his mentality a little bit. He's got to be a bit cautious, but Anthony Rosselli in a Radical Steel Series car, right, is giving him a very, very tough time. He goes a bit wide, rear end twitches out, and then Rosselli's going to try and get round the outside, and this will be interesting to see how this one ends up with.
Yeah, Anthony Rosselli, they touch a little bit coming down into the keyhole. Rosselli wants to touch again, and Rosselli barged off the track there by Darren Jr. And there was contact there on the exit of turn 1. Contact on the back straight away. Rosselli loses 4 positions on the racetrack there, and that is going to be disappointment for that 70 car, Rob.
Yep. Bit brutal. Bumper to bumper. Sorry, I got a mouthful of Trinese.
Meanwhile, Yoni Hagner at the same time, he's battling. He's off the track actually as they come down into China bend once again. He's battling with a man by Palumbo in the battle for 18th and 19th position. Hagner actually just able a little bit of a love tap there to Palumbo as they came down into turn number 4. And these guys are starting to get frustrated now, Dan.
Also just seen a great move from Evan Maillard right on the outside, spying the auto, and there's a Radical's car also in a bit of trouble. That's Paul Ilbrink there, and he's dropped back just in front of his teammate. So as he was saying, but so the Radical's not had a very good lap here.
Yeah, and what happened there for Ilbrink, he just caught that yellow curb on the exit of turn number 9. That spun him sideways. He was able to hold it off, lost himself a couple of positions, however, then almost fell into the rear of Spinal Vaniota and that run down into the carousel as well. So it is all changed with about 6 minutes and 30 seconds left on the play clock. Your race leader, however, is Sinex racing once again, Dan, and they're still leading the way.
Not really a surprise, you can say, but Enzo Benito he's got the lead off at Cordoba, and he's just maintaining the gap. He's not pulling away too far, but about third place we've got Dave Geeling still right behind Marcus Jurak, and Alexia Lema and Rocco Baroni still fighting as well. So we've got a couple of good battles right in front of the field, but we've also got that big cluster of McLarens in the mid-pack as well.
Yeah, and Rocco Barone is still struggling to find a way past Alexia Loma. In fact, we're going to go on board with Rocco Barone as they work themselves now down into the S's, out of the S's, now down on towards Honda Valley, underneath the Westwood Insurance Bridge. This is about for the 5th and 6th position on the racetrack right now. Aloma looking as though that he's a lot faster on the straightaways because of that wing. And I think that's saving him right now, Dan. The fact that he's going to have a bit more of a gap coming into the corners. Barone isn't quite fast enough to try and slow it down the inside because Aloma will always be fast in a straight line. And yeah, he got sideways out the final corner.
Did well to hold on to that. I thought for a second that was going to go straight into the spear, into the pit wall. He's got a bit high onto the curb there as well. Alexia Loma, I reckon it's a car maybe starting to play him up a little bit. He's trying to find it maybe a bit more harder to control, but Rocco Barone still hasn't found a way through. But as we said before, Alexia Loma, the speed is definitely helping him at the moment, but that car seems to be getting a bit more unstable. But as we know with the McLaren, as the race goes on, it does tend to get a bit more looser with the tyres and the car, so could be a bit of that as well. But I think Alexia Loma is struggling a little bit there.
Of course, Alexia Loma looking to rebound from the catastrophe that happened to him, leading the iRacing.com Indianapolis 500 with just 6 laps to go before issues struck. He fell down into the 5th position in a race which many argue should have been his. Aloma finished that race in the 5th position. I'd say he was pretty much deemed to win that race with 5 to go. However, Norby Kiss and Yoni Hagner getting on a little bit down into the final corner of the last lap there, Rob. And it looks like that Norby Kiss is still being a little bit aggressive as he tries to work his way through the field.
Norby Kiss being aggressive? No. That's what he's known for. It's a good aggressiveness though. You've got to have aggressiveness to be a racing driver. And he's just racing.
And meanwhile, Evan Maillard getting a long slide there. Almost upon that car 3 times he had to hold on to it. He is trying to work on Andres Valencius right now. And actually to talk about the drivers who've had penalties in this race, Evan Maillard is the one who's highest up in the standings right now, running in the 11th position, as I say, still trying to work on Andreas Valencius in the battle for the 10th position right now. As they work themselves down into keyhole once again, you see Maillard already starting that car down onto the inside line, just trying to upset Valencius just a little bit. He'll actually get a much better run off this corner here, but Valencius, he just tapped on the brakes a little bit. I think he's being a little bit dirty there, trying to make sure that Maillard stays behind just a little bit. But Dan, we've got someone in the grass actually, and this is out turn number 1.
Yoni Hagner.
Yoni Hagner, I just saw it on my screen there. Yoni Hagner is falling down a little bit.
Yoni Hagner,
contact with Norby Kiss.
Mr. Aggressive Norby Kiss racing very hard as Rob said before.
And this was down into turn number 1. We'll try and get ourselves a replay of that momentarily. And actually, I'm not going to give that one to Norby. That was more Yoni Hagner. He literally just turned down onto the right side there of Norby Kiss. I think that he thought that Kiss was clear, Rob. Came down into the corner and just tagged the right rear a little bit. A little bit too early. Spun that car onto the grass he goes, and he, I think he actually does stay. He now goes down into the 21st position on the racetrack.
Yeah, it seemed exactly like you said it well. We just didn't, just to try to take a line when the other car was there. I mean, the car's got the inside line. You can't just turn there and hope he's not there.
So we've now got ourselves 2 minutes and 14 seconds left on the play clock. Enzo Benito right now is working himself down into China Ben's corner. So we're going to have ourselves a lap left to go at the start finish line for Benito right now. You have to say, though, Dan, he really has driven his heart out in this race. Let's not forget, he started this race not in first, not in second, but in the third position. He managed to get past Shimshak early on into this race, and then he just hunted down Hildebrand. We thought for a while that Hildebrand would have this race in the bag. Benito, he's going to come and take the white flag this time by. In fact, he might not take the white flag this time by. We'll keep an eye out on that. But for Enzo Benito, he won't take the white flag this time by. But for Benito, he's just done a sterling job.
How many times have we seen this in the recent broadcast? Enzo Benito in a McLaren. Seemingly, it seems as if it's almost on a different level to these drivers. I think the way it's makes it look so easy. Oh, it's a crash in front involving.
Oh,
that is the.
It's Van Baarle. It's Van
Baarle, yes. I'm going off there, but as you're talking about Benito, it makes it seem this McLaren looks so easy. It's a perfect combination really for Enzo Benito. He seems to be extremely successful in this car, and it's going to be another victory for Enzo Benito in the McLaren, I think, at the moment.
And let's talk about that incident with Isvan Baarle. That'll be up on your screen momentarily, the replay of that. And this was down onto turn number 1. And Rob, he's done what a number of drivers have done before. He just clips that yellow curve a little bit. That separates a pit exit from the racetrack itself. He can run over that curve. He doesn't run away. He'll spin that car. But Baarle, he's very lucky he didn't plant that car into the Arco barrier.
Yeah, extremely lucky because, you know, that's a race-ending accident when that happens. So just too much curb, too much commitment, and couldn't quite hang on to it.
So for Enzo Benito, this time he'll get the white flag. There are 20 seconds left on the play clock, but of course, once that expires, these guys will then get the white, they'll be on the white flag, whatever lap they are on. Benito has got traffic ahead of him. He also now has a 3-second gap to Philip Hildebrand. The question's going to be, are some of these guys going to be a little bit late on fuel? Because he crossed the line with 6 seconds remaining on the play clock there, Dan. Some of these drivers might be all of a sudden into fuel economy mode.
They could be indeed, as you said before. 6 seconds is, if Enzo Benito couldn't have stopped the race any sooner because Hildebrand was only 3 seconds behind them. But depending on how tightly these guys have margined their fuel, we could actually see maybe some slower laps from them. I'd be very surprised if any of them actually do run out of fuel, but we have seen it before in PolarGT before.
Meanwhile, also, Andres Valencias is out of the race with just 2 laps remaining, just trying to figure out what happened to him. And actually, there's a big crash there. Away from our screens, this was between Andres Valencias, Evan Malia. Malia tried diving to the inside, and then Valencias turned into him. This also caught out to Laniotto. We'll talk more about that at the end of this race because for Enzo Benito, he's not got long left to go in this lap. He's already through the S's, and now he's down in towards Thunderbody. Once again, he'll come underneath that Westfield Insurance Bridge. He's now got himself a 3.5 second gap on the racetrack as Evan Malia very quickly. He is right in the thick of that action, again between Amanda Palumbo and Stefano Laniotto. And meanwhile for Enzo Benito, he'll work himself out of the final couple of corners for the final time. We'll keep you updated on what happens to Palumbo and Malia and also Laniotto. Benito will come past the start finish line and he will win the first of today's heat. To give you an update, it looks like Malia's been able to get past Stefano Laniotto in that battle for what is now 15th, 16th position on the racetrack. There's a huge triangle of cars here as they come down to work themselves on the last lap. We're going to stay with this one for the time being. It is got out front there. I believe actually that is Kushnik Shimrak involved in something there as well. No, it's not. It's Amanda Palumbo leading the way there. Evan Maillard then second in line. Stefano Laniotto third. Martin Asher, Norby Kiss all involved in the action. James Connor looking to the outside as they come into the carousel for the final time. Trying to work on Norby Kiss there. But as they come past the stripe, Enzo Benito, your race winner. Philip Hildebrand in the second position. Marcus Girac third. Dave Gilling in fourth. Alexia Loma round out your top 5. We'll talk about the rest of the results in just a moment. But Dan, let's go back to that incident that happened with just 2 laps to go. You had Amanda Palumbo involved in that one, I believe, but you definitely had Evan Maillard and also Stefano Laniotto there involved in a big incident as they work themselves through trying to bend. And it all started crazily, to be fair.
Yeah, the drivers are fighting extremely hard. They all want to get that extra position, but run a bit too far there. We don't like to see big accidents in the PolarGT, but unfortunately we've seen one. And Andreas Valencias, who'd driven quite a good race up until that point, was the victim, unfortunately.
So replay is up on your screen there, and what happened was this: Evan Maillard tried diving it down to the inside there, and I have to say that I don't think that Andres Valencias realised that he was going to turn into the corner there. It was a bit of a late move by Evan Malia to plant that car on the inside line. And then what that did is it then caught up to Panel Leniota. He had to go a little bit wide there, got himself some contact of his own. It looks like that everyone else was able to get through that one okay, but a 3-car incident 2 laps to go. Not what we want to see, Rob.
Definitely not. It happens in racing, but not something you want to see. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to have a bad day yourself, let alone cause a bad day for someone else.
So then, to run through your final race result, and it is Enzo Benito in a time of 31 minutes and 11 seconds, taking victory by 4 seconds at the line over Philip Hildebrand. Marcus Gerrard comes home in 3rd, Dave Geelink in 4th, Alexia Loma rounds out your top 5. Rocker Barone in 6th, then Glatzel 7th, Dom Duhan in 8th, Chris Hammond Jr. in 9th, and Anthony Rosselli will round out your top 10. In 11th, Paul Ilbert and Christian Shimjak in 12th, 13th, Armando Palumbo, 14th, Emma Maliard, 15th, Pana Lanioto, 16th, Martin Asher, 17th, Norby Kiss, James Collin in 18th, Tobias Grenzi in 19th, and then Yoni Hagner, after being involved in an incident, he lost it out there, and he will start this race when heat number 2 from the pole position. Tobias Chernzi will say he will start this race in the 2nd spot for the 2nd heat. James Cullen will start in 3rd. Norby Kiss will start in 4th. Martin Asher will round out your top 5 for heat number 2. Stefan Coppens is the guy from the outside looking in. He will start heat number 2 from the 21st position. Glenn McGee will start finish 22nd. Kazoba Volker Jr. 23rd. Your retirees: Wolfgang Wilgenhall, Isman Ballard, Andres Valencius, Rappalerna, Tyler Dalberg, Rico Varge, and Brandon Whitaker all out of the race. Dan. Nope. Rob.
Yes.
Talk to me. Like lovers do.
Oh, really? Well, wasn't that a fantastic race? It was good fun. Good to watch. Enzo the Terminator Benito. He's good in his car. Those Enix boys, where do they come from? You know, what is Timo doing to them? Do they? We've often said, do they get locked in the basement? You know, do they see daylight, or do they just sim race all day? Who knows? It's crazy, but they are talented. But Hildebrand put in a good show. Shimzak was unlucky with the contact. No, it was Aleski Loma drove decent. It was good. Speaking of Aleski, here he is. Over to you, Will.
Indeed, yeah, and we actually now know what happens to INX Racing. They get threatened with Yuna singing at them if they don't actually do well in the races. But Alexia Loma, a 5th place finish for you. It looked as though that car was on the ragged edge, but top 5, well done.
Yeah, I did some setup changes during the practice. I actually radical changes with the setup, so it was a little different to try, but it felt faster what I had before, so it was pretty good race.
Pretty good race, top 5 finish. At one point it looked as though that you were right there with Geelink in the battle for the 4th position. Towards the end of the race, so you had to fight pretty hard with Rocker Barone. Were those tyres just going off from you at the end?
Yeah, I slid up a few times. My rear tire started to overheat, so it was kinda loose. And well, after it starts getting loose, it's hard to get it back because it wants to get loose more and more.
That sounds like someone I know, to be fair. But for heat number 2, you'll be starting this race down in the 16th position. Can you survive lap number 1?
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Well, we'll talk to you a little bit later on in heat number 2. Meanwhile, we're going to have a Team Redline interview. It's Dom Duhan. Hello.
Good day, GlacierTV.
Hello. And I tell you what happened was, you finished this race all the way up in the 8th position. Toodle pip, well done.
Thank you, Will. Actually, not a bad race in terms of lack of incidents, but definitely lack of pace was an issue. As I watched everybody drive away from me, and I drove away from the guy behind, so it was just a learning experience for race 2.
A learning experience for race 2, but the way it's going to work is you've got some very fast guys behind you, some very fast guys ahead of you. You're going to kind of be the red line meat in a big Inex, Alien, Super LXE sandwich, really.
That sounds so odd. The picture in my mind, just, you don't want to see it. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure that the guys who are going to be behind me are going to be all over me because they had a lot of pace and going to turn into a bit of a team Redline lull train in a way. So we'll see how it goes.
So we'll wish you luck in that team Redline number 29 car for heat number 2. Anyone you want to say thank you to?
Always say thanks to sponsors, Fnatic. Okay,
Well, we'll talk to you a little bit later on.
cheers.
Thanks. Bye. In the meanwhile, we're going to step aside for just a moment as we prepare for heat number 2. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to the second part of tonight's coverage of the PolarGT $1,000 Cup. This will now be the heat number 8 of the championship. For those of you who are just joining us, where the baloney have you been? Enzo Benito won the race by 4 seconds over Philip Hildebrand. Benito started the race in the 3rd position, able to work himself up to the race lead and pull away from Philip Hildebrand. So Benito will start heat number 2 from the 20th position in the 20 car inverted field. The guy starting on pole position, that is going to be Joni Hagner in the number 42 car. Starting in 2nd for heat number 2, that will be Tobias Kranzi. And then in 3rd position, James Cullen. 4th position will be Norby Kiss. And then Martin Asher will start heat 2 in the 5th spot. Hagner and Zerny, they will be starting heat 2 on row number 1, Dan. That's going to be interesting, but then you've got the very fast Norby Kiss behind him. Then you've got the pretty fast Malii behind him. Then you also have Christian Zimrak looking to regain some lost ground. Then you've also got some other guys like Hildebrand and Benito and Girac all looking to come through the field as well. Chaos.
It's going to be interesting. Yoni Hagner in front. Nobby Kiss will be very happy as well, being on the 2nd row there. Could have been a lot worse for him, but really, it's a case of unleashing the hounds further back, as you could say, with the likes of Hildebrand and got Hildebrand, Benito trying to come through the field. It could be very interesting, as all these second heat races are.
Indeed, and of course we'll be starting this race on the back straight away, Rob. Hopefully it means that the cars won't be crashing as they come into trying to bend.
Not going to happen. There's going to be carnage. There's always carnage. It's a McLaren race. When you go to a McLaren race, it says in the programme there will be carnage. These guys don't disappoint. 6 cars are going to go off.
Just 6?
Yeah, don't forget it's the slower guys. Well, that's not quite the not so quick guys. They're all quick, but the not so quick guys are up front, and the quicker guys like Mr. Norby Kiss, who's a Ryan car, is actually a Challenger tank. Will look to probably go to the lead quite quickly.
I'd like to welcome in for heat number 2 David Ward as well. And David, you've driven this car a couple of times. You've driven Mid-Ohio a couple of times. I know you don't like the track that much, I know you don't like the car that much, but it's a big challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be really tough. I actually love this track. I don't particularly like the car, so this car on this track, maybe I need to drive it and have a go. But yeah, it's going to be really tough for these guys. I'm really looking to this second race. It's going to be really interesting with all the positions switched around.
To be fair, I don't particularly like you, but I don't complain. I'm just joking. But for heat number 2, of course, it does mean, Dan, that the first corners are turns 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, China Beach corner. But also, it's going to make things interesting for fuel numbers as well, of course. This race is an additional 5 minutes, in theory. It will take an additional 40 seconds, however, to get to the point where the green flag waves. So, fuel numbers, I think some people are going to try and go a little bit aggressive. There's not much in it, but as always, you'd like to start a car with as little fuel as possible, because each, extra couple of litres you have in that car, that's probably worth about half a tenth a lap.
We won't need to have too much more though, just because also during that 40 seconds where they're going from the original start to the back straight, they won't be going at full speed anyway, so they'll save a little bit of fuel. I don't think it'll be too much difference, but as you said, Will, they do like to be very, very aggressive with it, so it'll be interesting to see if anyone goes a bit of the wrong way and causes a bit of hassle in the last lap by being slow.
And David, this track, we've seen how difficult it can be for overtaking. For Heat 2, you have some guys like Norbert Kiss that need to pull out a couple of spots to be able to get themselves up in the standings to the race lead. Some drivers starting down in the teens, however, they're going to have to really be patient, because you might almost have to wait half a lap before you can really find a place to pass the car.
You've got two main places to pass here. You've got just after turn 1 coming into the hairpin with a loop that comes back down onto the back straight, and then just off the back straight turning right as you go through the twisty section. Everywhere else is pretty much follow my leader, but as you have seen in the last race, there's a lot of pride at stake, so you're going to see some desperation, especially from the faster guys as they come through on the slower guys. You might actually see the slower guys kind of say, okay, yeah, you've got the line there, they'll let them go, but yeah, we may not.
And with 5 minutes left to go in practice, however, you think maybe, Rob, that some of the cars will try a little bit of different strategy options as far as their wing and aero settings go, to try and make it so that for those two overtaking opportunities they have got more straight line speed?
Yeah, there's going to be some tweaks. Normally this happens, because you test as much as you can before the race, and you get into the race, and especially in these double races, you know what your car does, so you can go, right, well, I can lose a bit of wing, or you stiffen up a roll bar, or just make subtle changes to the car to enable you to go that little bit quicker or work better in traffic.
Chris Statman Jr. on Twitter before this race started, he said I should do a boogity to start this race.
No,
I agree.
I don't.
I agree. Just do it. Well, where do you end up in Indy 500, Dave? Hey, you got beat by
I think that was ahead of you.
I tell you what, we'll put it to a vote on Twitter. Let us know. Use the hashtag GlacierTV. Should I do a boogity or should I not do a boogity? Of course, we've got ourselves about 3 minutes left before this race gets underway. And Dan, it's gonna be tough all the way through the field here. What do you need to do to make sure you get to the end?
Try and stay out of trouble, be patient. We saw in that last race a couple of rash manoeuvres where people have gone late down the inside and caused contact. So you just got to be a bit patient. You got to be consistent as well, really. Consistency, as we saw before with Philip Hildebrand, he was quick in qualifying, but ended up needing to have the overall race pace. So to do well, you're going to have consistency, patience, and just try and stay out of trouble when you can, really. Because as we saw in the last race, there's still, even though we've got a bit of a depleted grid, there's still all the ingredients necessary for some carnage going in this race in the first couple of corners.
Incidents, championship standings. Incident standings will be even more fun. Championship standings up on your screen momentarily. Don't forget, these do not include the points that have been arisen from the first of today's races. As it stands, Geening, I think, would have been ahead of Norby Kiss as this race finished, but there's still so much to play for in the second of today's heat. Let's talk about Dave Geening a little bit, Rob, because he's got a good chance here of Kiss struggling with that penalty and then being down the field. He's struggling really to maintain that championship lead. Dave Geening, he's on the front page right now. We can see Inex leading the championship standings.
This Inex lot, it's getting a bit old school news. But yeah, he's one in the hunt. Some great, keeps consistent, and he catch Norby up because Norby's a risk taker. He could go off at any moment. He could, as we've seen, he likes to get involved in all the all the action. He's not afraid of putting his car in a Perez kind of gap. So,
Tell you what, though, Paul Ilbrink having a little bit of a spin there on the exit of turn number 1 in that Radicals car. Once again, clipping that yellow curb. And David, it's one of those things, it's so inviting. It looks like a low curb, but it's so slippery over there. You touch that curb, you're going to spin that car. Simple as that, game over.
Oh yeah, I mean there's a lot of curbs on this track as well where you can't really ride them. The second to last corner, yeah, it's best to stay off the curbs. Even on the first corner as well, where you've got that huge honking great sausage thing that they've started putting on all the English tracks, which I think is ridiculous. They're the most dangerous thing. Yeah, you hit those and you end up going flying through the air.
I thought you loved huge honking sausage things.
Yes, but not on a racetrack.
Meanwhile, we've got 10 seconds before the flagman waves the checkered flag, or in David's case, the checkered sausage, in the air to complete practice for this race. And we're going to head it down to the grid for the second of today's races. Checkered flag is now out in the air, so the guys now just finishing their 10-minute warm-up. And with that, let us run through what will be the grid for heat number 2 in about 5 seconds, if we may. Someone sing for 5 seconds.
Where's Eunice when you need him?
I know, right? Joni Hagner will be starting this race from the pole position on it'll be the outside of row number 1. He's chosen the outside line. And then Toby Azerni will be starting it from the second position. James Cullen will be on the inside of row number 2. Dobby Kiss in the 4th position. Martin Asher, Antoine Laniotto in row number 3. Evan Meliard and Christian Jimjak in row number 4. Paul Ilbrink, Anthony Rosselli in row 5. Chris Cameron Jr. and Dom Duhan in row 6. Sven Glatzel, Rocker Barone, row 7, Alexia Loma, Dave Koenig in row number 8, Mark Gajarac and Philip Hildebrand, row 9, Enzo Benito and Stefan Coppens will round out your 10th row. Then Glenn McGee, Xavier Volker Jr., Wolfgang Waldenhall, Ismail Bala, Andres Valencias, Rapalana, Tara Dalberg and Ricky Varge. They are your 28 drivers who will be starting heat number 2 here today. Who's going to win? Well, we're going to ask you first, Shoni, for once.
What, are you going to ask me?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you.
Why? Who are you?
Who's going to win, Dan?
Norby Kiss, I think, this time. He's in a good position this time, and with the closest competitors languishing down, about like Hildebrand 18th, Benito 19th, I think Norby Kiss, if he can get free in the first couple of laps and pull out a gap, I think it'd be quite hard to catch him.
Rob?
Shimzak from P8.
And David, what?
Aleski.
Meanwhile, pace car can work himself through the keyhole once again. David, take us through these next couple of corners, because as soon as they come out of here, full speed to start this race, of course. Just before I let you do that, just keep an eye on the pace car, just for the time being. And just about now, you'll be able to see on the apex of turn number 3, there's a guy sitting on the flag stand. That is where this heat number 2 will start. David, take us through the middle portion of this racetrack.
Okay, this bit, the long straight, you're pretty much flat out here. The McLaren can definitely get some aero drag along here, and it's really good overtaking place, especially coming down to this corner. If you're alongside, the outside car really doesn't stand a chance. You've got to be really careful coming onto the power. You can get really slippy there. As we're going into the next left-hander, it's really over the crest, and the car becomes very, very light, so you'll see sometimes the guys just coasting over there and then getting onto the power as soon as possible. Then this next twisty section is really, really technical. Obviously, you want to carry as much speed as possible. So you'll see a lot of the drivers just drifting out wide enough on their exit, and then you'll see them absolutely going flat through here. You might see a slight lift over the crest. After that, there's the right-hander, another blind over crest corner. Car comes very light. I've seen quite a few accidents there where the cars have just run wide, clipped the grass and then spun. And then as we go down into the last section, we've got this big, long, sweeping right-hander. And it's really deceiving because as you come into the corner, you think you can get onto the power a lot earlier than you can, but you just got to wait. So, and as we come back onto the start-finish straight, I think we pass over to Will so you can say boogity.
Right now you see that will be on the outside of row number 1, will be where your pole position man, that is Joni Hagner, and that is where he will sit to start this second heat. Tobias Zerny will be starting alongside him in row number 1. He, in theory, will have the advantage on that run down into trying to bend for this heat in that Apex Racing UK.com car. James Cullen will start in 3rd, Norby Kiss will start in 4th. Norby Kiss, I think he could be in the race lead by the end of lap number 2. You see that the car is now working himself down the back straight away. You can see at any moment now the flagman is going to give that command to start this race. And as he does so, boogity, let's go racing for heat number 2, boys. It's a good start there by Zerny as he works himself down into trying to bend for the first time. Norby Kiss also looking down to the inside as they come down almost there. Hagner cutting off Zerny as they come down to the first corner. Norby Kiss there from the inside. He couldn't get the job done. We've got
Maillard, and
They've dealing now as well. Okay, let's slow down for just a moment. We have Emma Maillard involved in this incident. Dave Dealick involved in it as well. We also had Sven Glatzel off the racetrack, and they were going 4 wide on the grass. So we have a Ferrari car out of the race. That is Rocco Barone. It looks like Alexis actually okay. Marcus Jurek is out of the race. We'll get every single driver through as they come past start-finish line for the first time. But importantly, at the end of lap number 1, it is going to be Joni Hagner leading the way. Tobias Zerny in 2nd, James Cullen in 3rd, Norby Kiss in 4th, Martin Asher in 5th, Bonaleni Oto in the 6th position, Anthony Rosselli 7th, Chris Damon Jr. in 8th, Paul Ilbrick in 9th, Dom Duhan will round out your top 10. Let's have a look to see where all of the cars that we're looking for. Enzo Benito still working himself on the racetrack. Philip Hildebrand, I don't see Philip Hildebrand. In fact, yes I do, he's fine. He's currently running in the 12th position. He's just been able to get past the damaged Evan Maillard. And that is a car, surprisingly enough, and we're trying to get confirmation of who that is momentarily. And it's actually, it looks like they managed to get back onto the racetrack actually. This is on the exit of the keyhole, and it was actually James Cullen who will now be up into the 3rd position.
James Cullen's had a disconnect unfortunately, so bad luck there for James Cullen, who was running in 3rd position at the time.
And we've got a huge pack right now in the battle for the 19th position, and Cullen just lost it there on the exit of the keyhole. And right now we have a nose drive. We've got Enzo Benito, Rick Barone, Zell Volker Jr., Andres Valencias, Rapilana, Shimzak, Dalberg, McGee, Varge, and Wilderhall all there in a battle. Dave, this is just crazy.
This is awesome. This is the best racing that you can see on iRacing right now. I mean, the going down into the first turn is always going to be tricky. I think some of them are trying to go at 10 wide into that first corner, and it's always going to be carnage, as was said earlier by Rob.
So Zerny is now running in the 2nd position. Norby Kiss is running in 3rd. But Kiss doesn't look as though right now he's got the speed to catch up to the rear of Zerny just for the time being, Rob.
No, it doesn't, but with his main contender seems to be out of the race, he probably doesn't care that much because he's not scoring points and he's going to stretch his lead.
Oh, trouble! And it's Enzo Benito, and I think also it's Evan Maillard there as well. And this was down into the head.
Oh, that car come back on.
And I tell you what, I think that was Evan Maillard. He never braked into the person. He never braked into the corner.
Maybe that needs to go and go and have a look at the stewards.
Meanwhile, we'll get ourselves a replay of that momentarily. Hagner leading the way. That was crazy there for Evan Maillard. He he literally just ran into the rear of Enzo Benito.
Yeah, Enzo's not happy about that. A lot of radio chat going on at the moment, but we can try and catch up with Evan maybe later on and see what happened there.
No, it didn't stop. That's what happened.
He just didn't stop at all there. This was down into the keyhole, and afterwards Maillard came on the radio and he just said YOLO, YOLO, YOLO. I'm tell you what, this is the most controversial thing we have seen in all of PolarGT. Enzo Benito out of the race in that 05 Onyx racing car. Enzo Benito had a great chance to get himself another top 10 finish here today. He's going to be hugely disappointed with that. Let's turn our attention back to the here and now, however, because it looks like Norby Kiss needs to get himself now up into the second position, passing Tobias Zerny, Dan.
Yeah, Norby Kiss up into second place. It's not far before he gets up to Joni Hagen. You've got to think, and I said before that Norby Kiss was in a good position, and as we've just seen, that mid-pack incident with Maillard and Benito, and I think really the championship expulsion for that sort of thing may be considered, because that is totally unacceptable. It's ruined lots of people's races, but Norby Kiss is going to be trying to get past Joni Hagen. I think next lap and a half or so, we probably would see Norby Kiss taking that lead.
Yeah, it looks like Aleski has got a black flag for some reason. We just need to check with race control whether this is correct or not.
Yeah, apparently if you're driving a pink car is the rumour in the pit lane.
I tell you what,
and
Norby
they're
Kiss.
all tying up on the last corner there. Leslie Lerner just cuts across the grass
Paul
to avoid
Wilbrink's
that.
got some damage as well to the front of that car, very slowly down the home straight, so Paul Wilbrink of the Radicals seems to be in a bit of bother.
And meanwhile, Baraka Barone there, Esteban Barra, they are battling side by side in the battle for the 12th and 13th positions on the racetrack. Barra lost out just a little bit there to Rocco Barone, and Barone was able to keep the position there as they come down into the keyhole and almost there, Velka Jr. into the rear of Barra. This is a great battle, a 5-6 car battle in that battle for the 12th position right now. You've got Shimtrack at the rear of this right now. Shimtrack's got to be thinking, wait a minute, I can just wait for these guys to take each other out and they'll be fine at the end. Meanwhile, Dave Keeling in the 29 car side by side with Dom Duhan. That's so close. And they almost come together. In fact, they do come together. And then Dom Duhan's been turned around a little bit there. Philip Hildeman takes the base of action. Duhan will keep going. But that was close racing between himself there and Dave Keeling.
That was crazy racing.
Really close racing. I mean, when you come over that brown and come side by side, all you need to do is just tap the car and spin them around. But he managed to keep hold of it. Great driving. And Loma's on the move here, trying to go round the outside. I mean, this is a really tricky corner, but it sets himself up fantastically as he's got the inside there, the coming onto the start and finish straight. He's the guy on the move, and I think he's the one that I said was going to win this race.
Yeah.
My pick did 17th. What a load of rubbish.
Norby Kiss down to the inside, and this is a battle for the race leaders. They're going to take it out of the keyhole. Kiss, he didn't get the job done there. You see already, Joni Hagner going to be defensive on that run down. The turn at number 3 as they come down toward China Bend once again. Kiss isn't going to be quite close enough. Can Hagner hold on? Kiss is going to have to go to the outside line. Will he get the job done? Look at the outbraking there. He didn't get it though, and he's going to try the undercut. But Norby Kiss, now he's going to slide down to the inside. He's just trying to find every opportunity available. And I tell you what, Hagner, great defensive driving by him right now there.
Yeah, very good defensive driving now from Joni Hagner, because Norby Kiss is all over him like a rash at the moment, and that is never a good thing to happen. But Norby Kiss will be looking to try and make that move again, I think, in the quite near future.
Yeah, he's way faster than Yanni, but I mean, once you get into this twisty section, it is pretty much follow my leader. It doesn't matter how quick you are, you're going to get held up, especially by someone who can drive offensive. But I noticed they're not getting held up that much. I think because the other group would have just caught up on them. But Norby is a lot quicker. He might have a look down the inside here under a bit of desperation. He sticks his nose out there, but
he does.
Yeah,
they get the inside line.
There we go.
I surrender.
Yeah,
is he only French?
No, he's not French.
Really?
Now,
you look
now,
like a
now.
Frenchman driving.
I tell you what though, Norby Kiss down to
Put
the
the white
inside.
flag
I tell you
up
what,
early.
Hagen's actually not letting him get away with it. So they come down into trying to beat once again. Now he does, and they touch Norby Kiss there, almost getting wrecked out of the race by Yoni Hagner in that 42 car. Hagner was locked down into the second position. I wonder if there's any damage to Norby Kiss's number 15 car. He is your new race leader. Tobias Zerny isn't too far back in that third position, but right now it's being hounded by Tupano Lanioto, David, in this battle for the third and fourth position.
Yeah, that 4-car group behind us all of a sudden caught up, and I think that was once Norby made the move. But yeah, they're going to be Norby's gone now. I mean, he's clearly the fastest guy on the track. But yeah, Yoni's going to get really harassed now and pretty much beaten up. He's going to be going down the pecking order. He just needs to try and hang on with Norby as much as possible.
And meanwhile, Andres Valencius is off the racetrack, and also, Dan, it looks like Geeling's going to need to get himself past Damron Jr.
Yeah, Dave Geeling's made a move on Chris Damron Jr., so that puts Dave Geeling up into 7th place. As Norby Kiss currently leads, and Geeling needs all the points he can, because those two are battling close in the championship.
And Leski's having a hard time now. I think he was just making a pass, but he's come up to a group of pretty quick drivers. He's going to be finding it difficult to get by them, and he's really trying to heavily defend after making the move down the inside.
Here comes Glatzel to the outside, however, and Glatzel's going to be side by side, so they work themselves down into turn number 4, and Loma will keep it. He goes a little bit wide there, just managed to keep it between the painted white line. He's got 3 cars ahead of him, as Loma going a little bit sideways once again. But let's turn our attention to the cars ahead of him. Philip Wildman, Dom Duhan and Chris Damron Jr. We've seen Duhan and Damron being in the wars already. Hildebrandt, it does look as though that right now, Dan, he's just kind of holding his own, just making sure that he doesn't do anything stupid. He knows he's got a good chance to make up positions in the championship standings here today.
Yeah, both Geeling can... who are we talking about, Will?
Pay attention. Chris Damron Jr., Dom Duhan and Philip Hildebrandt.
Yeah, Philip Hildebrandt, 10th position at the moment, and yeah, it's good. Dom Duhan and Chris Damron in front, and you need to be a bit patient here. You've seen what's happened earlier in the race with being impatient and other things happening which are a bit unsour, but it's a chance for Philip Hildebrandt to get some points. But behind there's a fierce battle going on there with Glatzel and Rocco Baroni.
Indeed, yeah, and they two are very closely separated on the racetrack. One thing I'm also keeping my eye on, Tupano Lanioto and Martin Ash in the battle for the 4th and 5th position. Those two are just separated by 2 tenths of a second on the racetrack right now. Let's not forget, Tupano Lanioto is actually down to the inside of Tobias Zerny in the 28 car, and he's going to get the job done. Nicely done there by Tupano Lanioto.
And Ash is trying to take advantage as well, so some great close racing there by the boys. Just had to race properly and not give each other respect just enough for him to compete, so it was good.
And so Tupano Lanioto now up into the 3rd position. Martin Asher in that 18 car. He's doing a sterling job, but he's still running in that 5th position. And I tell you what, these 3 guys, they're very closely separated, but he's going to come into contact with them soon with Anthony Rosselli. He's not too far behind now, making it a 4-car pack. We know how good Anthony Rosselli is, David.
Yeah, Anthony Rosselli is really, really good. I'm not sure if he's just kind of like chilling there at the moment, or whether he's just waiting and trying to save his tyres and waiting for the low fuel to come, and then he'll make his move.
Oh my god, and then I tell you what,
they're
turning going very, 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 very wide there. And Ashes now is going to have a great run as they work it through turn number 3 once again. They are flat out all the way through here. Let's see whether Martin Asher is going to make that move down to the inside. Indeed, he's going to look down to the inside. They're going to be side by side as they come down into turn number 4. And there he goes. Asher up a position. And also, Rosselli's going to try and make a move.
Yeah, it's really hard. Once you get pushed out wide on that section, there's 2 drivers right near you. You end up just getting freight trained.
Meanwhile, Kiss, your race leader. We are working on lap number 10 right now. Robert Kiss is your race leader. Hagner in 2nd, Lanioto in 3rd. It's now Asher in 4th, Zerny in 5th, Andrew Rosselli in 6th, Dave Geeling 7th, Chris Damron Jr. in 8th, Dom Duhan in 9th, and Philip Hildebrandt rounds out your top 10. Dan?
Dom Duhan just a few positions. Alexia Loma and Philip Hildebrand have both found a way past him. So Dom Duhan, as we spoke to him before in that Team Redline car, and he's dropping back a little bit there. But good battle in front between Alexi Aloma and Philip Hildebrand. We've seen some gravel being kicked up in front of them. I can't see anything untoward there at the moment, but Alexi Aloma is certainly on the offensive against Philip Hildebrand.
Hildebrand's actually on the offensive as well on Damron Jr. Damron Jr. was sideways there through turn number 1. This is going to allow Hildebrand. He's already moving to the right hand side. He's not going to make the move. Here comes Aloma. Super Aloma to the outside there. Trying to take advantage. Hildebrand got pinned on that inside line. But Hildebrand's trying to work on Damron. Aloma's faster than Hildebrand. Hildebrand's faster than Damron right now. And Rob, this could be Aloma trying to work to the outside as they come down to turn 4 once again.
Oh, he's going to get blocked now because he's not going to have. He's not going to have time to do this unless he can hold it all the way around the outside.
Yeah, he's going to hold it.
Fantastic driving.
That is how to drive that corner. Wow.
And they
is how-
avoid each other.
Super
Yeah, that's how to drive that. There we go, and now we'll get in. He's got Chris in front of him there, so I don't imagine Chris putting much of a fight. Sorry, mate, but just stay off.
I tell you what though, that Alexi was able to work that draft on the outside line down to turn 4. He is so close to himself and Hildebrand. A good heads up driving by the two of them. Aloma now going to work with Chris Damron Jr. in that battle for what is now 8th and 9th position on the racetrack. Aloma looking strong once again on a track that before this race, Rob, he said he hated.
Yeah, but drivers hate different tracks. He just gets on with the job. Job at hand. It's got corners on it. Go left and right a little bit. Put your foot down, brake a little bit. He's all right. He's got talent, hasn't he?
I think Alessi's going to go around the outside on this next turn here and gain another place, but then he's got a real long gap to.
There's 3 wide
down.
behind.
Rocco Baroni going, oh my god, look how close this is. It's so side by side with Sven Glatzel as they work it off the corner. And I tell you what, Rocco Baroni right now trying to find a way past that number 10 car. He's going to find the inside line, but we've seen that this doesn't work. And now Baroni will go to the outside line, and you see that Glatzel almost gave him the position there. He got pinned on that inside line a little bit. Baroni wasn't able to get the job done, however, almost free wide again as they come through turn number 4.
Contact.
Baroni is on the charge. A tiny bit of contact, not too much.
Just back to Oleski now. I think he's getting held up a little bit by Chris, and there seems to be a Duran Jr. train falling up behind him. But Oleski tried that move again, going around the outside and finding the switchback, but he just touched the grass and got a little bit wide.
Don't forget, live timing is available if you head over to isodbc.org/live. Give me contact with us on Twitter as well. Use the hashtag GlacierTV. Go on, Rob.
Speaking of GlacierTV, they currently have drivers P2 and P3.
That's Glacier Racing, you fool, not GlacierTV.
Well, yeah, same thing, isn't it? Same
They're
thing.
completely different things.
Well, they're not. They're
And
all
there's
hanging
Okay,
Speed
I'll
together.
down
give
to
you an
the
example,
inside.
for example. Aloma's now down to the inside. We'll come back to that in a moment. And we've got a car off. I believe that's Damron Jr. And indeed it is. He's going to lose himself all forms of position. Coming down into the keyhole there. Aloma had the inside line. Damron Jr. just outbraked himself. Lost himself position there to Sven Glatzel. Also to Christian Simjak and to Dom Duhan. Philip Hildebrand is now right on the rear of Alexi Aloma as well. We're going to go back to this Glacier Racing, Glacier TV thing. Glacier Racing work with Banshee Autosport, whereas Glacier TV hate Banshee Autosport because they have me here. There we
Yeah,
go.
there's no
Just
love.
kidding. Just kidding. Meanwhile, let's turn our attention to this battle because it really was a Damron Jr. train, but now you've got a huge gaggle of cars. Alexi Aloma, Philip Hildebrand, Dom Duhan, Christian Simjak, Sven Glatzel, Chris Damron Jr.'s rock up a Rome down the inside of him. That was a great pass there on turn number 9 and 10. Now they come down into the carousel once again. And Barone is up in position there, being able to overtake Damron Jr. And these guys, they're just battling like there's no tomorrow.
What we like to see there, Will, good, fierce, close quarters racing in the PolarGT.
This is what it's all about. That's why you switch the grids around. It's gonna happen.
True story, bro. Meanwhile, Dom Duhan, it looks as though he's going to allow Simtrack to go down the inside of him into this corner. In fact, he's going to allow Simtrack to go past by the look of it, down into the keyhole there. So Dom Duhan losing a position, but he just allowed that car to go past him. knowing the fact that it's so treacherous right now with all these cars, and I think he just wants to stay ahead of Sven Glatzel in the Endurance car as they come down into, oh my god, Sven Glatzel completely overrates himself there into turn number 4, and that is going to allow Rocket Road to close him up completely. But it's like your race leader, Nordic is a 5-second lead right now.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to work out if this Oleski train gets by the next group, which they are catching hand over fist. Are they going to have enough time to catch Norby? And are they gaining on Norby?
They're not. Simple as that,
No.
I think, right now. I think it's simple as that. Norby Kids now is out front. No, seriously, I think. Meanwhile, Anthony Rosselli, let's turn our attention to him momentarily. You can see it's working very close to the rear of Tobias Zerning as they come out of turn number 1 once again. They work themselves down this short back straight away before they come down into keyhole. We've seen a load of late passes down into turn number 2. Rosselli does the latest of all the latest ones I've seen. He just breezes past Zerning there.
What a move. See you later. Bye. Thanks for coming. That's how it's done. Light on the brakes, take the inside, watch the other car drift out wide, and put the hammer down and see you later. But
Can you do me a
trouble
favour?
is the other car's got the draft now. Yeah.
Can you do me a favour? Oh, that's going to be close there between those two drivers. I was going to say, Rob, I've never heard anyone talk as high-pitched as that since Liam Jenkins was on here when he said bye, but can you please never do that ever again? But Zerny's got Geeling right behind him now as they work themselves through the S's. By the way, if you want to know where Liam Jenkins is, you can see him on Sim Raceway every Sunday evening. There we are, Liam.
Oh,
Hi, how
what
you doing?
time?
I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you, I don't really care either, but Norby Kids is your race leader, Yoni Hagner, still in the second position. But Geeling, I tell you what, he could be your points leader after today. But if he can get another 2 positions, Dave Geeling could be your new championship leader, boys.
That'd be good.
Wow. Consistency and all that. Anyway, back to Oleski. He's, he's just
Your
got
favourite
this
driver.
Oleski TV. He's awesome, mate. He's really good. Anyway, he's catching up this second group. Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
Your
I
favourite
tell you what,
driver.
ladies and gentlemen, we apologise for what this broadcast has descended into. We've got ourselves 13 minutes and 15 seconds left of this brutal craziness. But Alexei, right now, is right on the rear of Geeling, but also Sven Glatzel on Dom Duhan. This is a battle for the 11th to 12th positions as Geeling there is actually able to go past Tobias Zerning. Will he get the job done? They're going to be side. Oh, look at that. Dave
I was
Geeling
waiting
to get
for
the
that.
job done into turn number 6. He was able to get the job done there as well. But you've also got Alexei Loma being hunted down by Philip Hildebrand, and it looks as though that time by Dom Duhan was able to stay ahead of Sven Glatzel. We've got about 6 different battles going on the racetrack right now, boys, and I don't even know which one to look at.
Dave
It's crazy
Geeling
racing,
has
all-
gone past Tobias Journey as well, away from my camera. So
Oi! I just mentioned that. Pay attention.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Oh.
Good job.
That
Good
is
job,
the
Sam.
stupidest thing
Anyway.
I've heard ever since Liam Jenkins was talking about Alexei
Anyway.
Loma when it was going on YouTube.
Here's a valid question, right? Team Redline, can they only drive hard downforce cars? Because where's the rest of Dom Duhan's teammates? You know,
I talked to Dom
helping
about
them
this.
out.
I talked to Dom about
Yeah.
this, and the most important thing is that they are putting most of their attention into the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series, which of course every other Saturday here live on GlacierTV. Dom Duhan, of course, doesn't race in that series, so he's racing here in this. He's not getting much support from his teammates, but still consistently in the top 10 for him. Meanwhile, Philip Hildebrand's going to look down to the inside, and he will slot a car down to the inside in 4. Won't get the job done, however. I think he's just trying to upset Alexei Loma right now in that Super Alexei car. And let's go back to what we were talking about in the first day's heats down, that Aloma was running very low wing to try and make sure that people couldn't pass him. It's working once again, but we saw Aloma's tyres were going off around this stage of the race when there was about 10 minutes left to go. Aloma is going to start struggling very soon.
yeah, unfortunately, it looks like Super Alexei's run could be halted pretty quickly, but he's doing well so far to keep on to the car. But we did see later in the first race that the car was extremely loose. At one point coming out of this carousel section, he very nearly lost it. His back end twitched out, but as we said before, Alexei Loma currently in 8th position. If you're happy with this, 2 consistent finishes for Alexei, and just what he needs to get his championship back up. So it's good. It's a good 4th week of Polar GT for Alexei Loma.
As Rosselli looking down the inside of Asher, late on the brakes again, almost the textbook move that he did before, just couldn't quite get it done. Alexei's cape's fallen off, that's why he's slow.
I tell you what though, let's run through the rest of the retirements in this race. James Cullen out of the race early on, Stefan Copland out of the race, Enzo Benito being taken out of the race there by Evan Malliard, Glenn McGee out of the race, and Marcus Jurek out of the race. It's Van Bannock scored 6 laps down at the race, Paul Ilvin scored 1 lap down right now. Meanwhile, Rocco Barone in the battle for the Tom 13th position side by side with Dom Duhan, not able to complete the pass and almost losing that car there in that Ferrari Azura car. And it looks like Dom Duhan for the time, almost a little bit of a love tuck though actually. Rocket Barone stays right now in that 13th position on the racetrack. Yes, what happens now guys, is that once I say something useful, you then commentate on it. But meanwhile, the battle for P4 and 5 right now is the best battle we have on the racetrack. We have Martin Asher and Anthony Wasali. They are still battling for this 4th and 5th position. Martin Asher in that 18 car, Anthony Wasali in the number 17 Radical Steel Series machine as they come out of turn 1 once again. And Dan Wasali looking very, very feisty.
Yeah, we said before maybe he was saving his tyres. It looks like he is certainly becoming a lot more racy, shall we say, as the race gets further and further on. And Martin Asher in 4th position is feeling the wrath of Rosselli, but he's got to be careful because he's also got Dave Geeling. But those 3 have managed to put away a bit of a gap now between the rest of the field, so they've got a bit of space between them and the second gaggle. But as we said before,
here comes the move.
Wow! Oh my god!
Perfect move.
Like
That
a
was
slingshot. Fantastic from Geeling.
I kind of think that he just, there's no point in fighting that really, so you just let him have it. But yeah, mega late break. Really
Geeling
good
was awesome on the brakes, basically.
And what this does is it moves Geeling closer to him being the championship leader coming out of Mid-Ohio. Now he's going to be the one working on Martin Asher. I don't think Rosselli will have anything for him, but Geeling, what a pass was that, mate?
Yeah, that was amazing. I mean, it's so good on that corner as well because it's slightly cambered, and if you can brake, if you can get it all right, just slingshot into that corner and carry so much more speed than the other guy. Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I'd love to see a replay of that again.
We'll try and get one up on your screens momentarily. However, we are currently looking at... Oh, we've got Anthony Rosselli on the grass there. So he is going to pull back just a tiny bit. We're going to get a 2-car battle. As you see Geeling there, he's already all over the rear of Martin Asher in this battle for the 4th position. He can theoretically just about catch Pang Maniotto, who is sat in the 3rd position in the standings. We only had probably just out of reach. Geeling's going to be too far back to make the move, surely. This time Byers to come down into trying to bend once again. For Dave Geeling, I think right now, he just has to pick his moment.
Yeah, he does, and you can see Aloma coming up onto the back of this group now, and yeah, he's going down the inside there, trying to have a cheeky little look, sticking his nose in, probably get it chopped off, but now you're going to have to wait and watch go single file along here as they go over the crest. Really important to get a good drive off this corner.
So we are now just over 7 minutes of this race left. It's not quite close. He's not quite.
Almost. He had
no.
let him know he was.
Yeah, but the next corner went to right-hander, so we've never been able to get that. I tell you what, Geeling, you can get a good run through turn number 1. I think he should just try and stick it down the inside to come down into turn number 2 on this race. 7 minutes left, just under 7 minutes of this race left to go. As Geeling really abusing that curve there on the inside of turn number 1.
He was riding the sausage then, wasn't he? He was like, had his car completely over it. I'm surprised.
Oh, look at this! Here we go! Down to the inside, they touch! Almost, no, they don't! And look at that, actually going a little bit wide. Geeling will now have the run as they come through turn number 3. In fact, he'll probably clear him before they come down into trying to bend. It was all because of the fact that Asher went a tiny bit wide there. Geeling now up into the 3rd position on the race, and Alexei Loma as well is close. He's going to pass him. He goes sideways.
That's a lack of cape. Couldn't quite pull that superhero move off.
He just stays ahead, though. Importantly, he stays ahead of Philip Hildebrandt.
rear
Fucking
entry
Broncos.
drift manoeuvre.
I heard a fucking Bronco going. I don't even want to say something.
And Dave likes sausage and other stuff. It's quite scary in this channel right now.
Sausages and rear entry.
Right, so having looked at Dave Geeling replay, this I believe up on your screen momentarily. But Geeling is now
Concentrate,
running in the 5th position on the 3rd position even on the racetrack to 4th position. Final Leniotto right now is scored in the 4th position. You know what, Dan? If you try and talk for about 3 minutes, I might actually try and work out the point standings quickly.
Yeah, but at the moment, as you say, Nobby Kiss, as we said before, if he got in front, that he might actually pull away, and he has not done that. He's nearly 9 seconds clear of Joni Hagner, but to Pino Leniotto in 3rd place, Dave Geeling in 4th. And David, do you think that Dave Geeling will be able to catch the Pino Leniotto maybe for the podium?
Maybe. It's going to be really tough. We haven't got long to go, and the pace between these guys is pretty. You're only talking like half a second or so. So yeah, I can't.
Alexi's got his cape back on, and he's down the inside of Tobias Cherney. Cherney's going to try and fight it off, but Alexia Loma has his superpowers
And
back
Hildebrand.
again. And Hildebrand's found a way past as well, so Cherney's lost 2 places there in the space of 2-3 corners. Not a good lap for him, but Alexia Loma is finally through, and his next target is going to be the car of Anthony Rosselli. It'll be interesting to see if Loma can get a run going to get himself up into the top 5.
Oh, Rosselli's all over the back of Martin Asher right now, looking for a way past. So he's working all the angles he can. He's right on his gearbox. So we'll see how that develops. So this could be an amazing battle very shortly, because Loma's got his cape back on and he's catching.
Can I just say, boys, that it will be a 3-point advantage as it stands right now to Dave Geeling in the championship standings if it all stays where it is. So Dave Geeling will be your new championship points leader, and if he can get past Pino Leniotto, that will really help his cause as well.
Rosselli right on the bumper. Sorry.
You know, he could actually catch Hagner as well.
Yeah, I
Geeling,
think, you know
if
what,
Geeling comes
I don't think
talking
he can
about,
catch
yeah.
him in time. Geeling realistically can probably only catch Pino Leniotto. It's going to be very close. He needs about 4 laps. He's only going to have it realistically 3. So it's Anthony Rosselli still right on the rear of Martin Asher. This just shows, Rob, that passing is so difficult to do here.
It makes
Exactly, alluded to that at the start, and it's great. Yeah, and see Dave Geeling who just slings it past anyone when he wants. And his name is Dave Geeling, and he passes when he wants. But yeah, it's such a tough track. You've got to put your gap so decisively and commit to it, which is what drivers kind of have problems with. They commit and then they back out, and it's like they kind of half commit, and that's when you get accidents.
So 3 laps left to go, 2.5 laps almost left to go for North Kia's usual race lead. The gap is now 8.9 seconds over Joni Hagner. The gap right now between Leniotto and Geeling, that is just 1.3 seconds on the racetrack. Last time by, Pino Leniotto did himself a 122.141. Dave Geeling a 121.533. So Dave Geeling is now closing. In exactly 2 laps time, he will be close enough. Dan, he'll have 1 chance to try and get that past up.
We've seen Geeling's overtaken so far. I think if Geeling can find that opportunity down the inside, it'll be. I think Geeling, if he gets the opportunity, he won't shy away from it. Let's put it like that. We've seen that fantastic move. He almost slingshotted his way through earlier, and a similar move like that in the last lap. If he has the opportunity, I think he'll definitely go for it.
Yeah, just a little bit of a push behind as Oleski came up to overtake that 2 group of Asher. So yeah, he's on Asher's tail now, and they're just coming over the crest. I mean, Oleski in that group, if Geeling gets caught up behind battling, then you could see this group come right on top of them.
Not going to be much left to go this time by 2
They're
laps left to
catching
go for
Hagner
Northern
as well.
Kids. They are catching Hagner. The issue is that I think Hagner is just out of the picture for the time being. You know, it's about a 2-second gap, and let's not forget that Geenick is going to have to do everything in his power to find a way past the final Lenioto. That'll slow him down just enough, I think, so that you're not going to get what you need to do to complete this race in the second position. But Dave Geenick, final Lenioto, battle for the third position. If Geenick can get past, it will open up a pretty sizable gap. I say sizable, it'll probably change by this time in the next race. The points difference you'll get 9 points from finishing third compared to 4. So that'll make it a 12-point gap in the standings. Let's forget Dave Geenick came into this about 12 points back at the start of this race. Go on, David.
I think Jan is choking right now because he's seeing Geeling coming up fast on his dashboard. So yeah, he's really just slowed off tremendously. Seems a little bit weird. I mean, maybe his tyres are completely gone, but Nanato and G-Link are there. Yeah, maybe he's just shutting off and just realised he can bring it home.
Aloma's all over the back of Asher as well.
And however, this time it is the white flag for Norby Kiss. He has got himself less than 1 lap to go in this race. The flagman is now standing upon the iRacing.com gantry, ready to wave the white flag as the time now elapses in this race. Norby Kiss, your race leader, working himself through turn number 2 once again. You're only hanging at 10.5 seconds back to Funnel Lenioto, a further 1 second back. Dave Geenick is not at this point in time close enough. He goes wide as well in turn 2. That's going to ruin pretty much any opportunity he will have. He will not be able to get that run down into China Benz, and Dan, that's critical because that's pretty much the only opportunity you will have for the rest of the lap.
Alessi and Asher.
Meanwhile, Alexi and Asher, look at that.
Alexi Aloma's going to try to go around the outside of Martin Asher. We see him do this before, breaking a lot later, and then making the move stick on the second part of the corner. He's going to try and do it again.
Oh, they turned!
Contact. Oh, that's contact. I think Asher sort of turned.
Big trouble there.
He's caught Asher again there for a second time, but very unfortunate there. I think Alexi, has he got a bit? I think he's damaged now. He seems to got a bit of damage, but now I come back to you, Will, for this.
Norby Kiss. Norby Kiss is looking foul of the final corner for the final time. He will claim victory in the second of today's heat in the PolarGT $1,000 Cup. Yoni Hagner working himself past from lap traffic. He will come home in third. Actually, Yoni Hagner getting a tap on their last couple of corners of the final lap. Lenioto will come in third. And I tell you what, Geenick there always getting wrecked out of the race as well. And that driver is actually Wolfgang Wildenhall there, who almost wrecked out two of the 3 drivers from the last corner of the last lap. You're going to get a confirmation of everyone else as they come past the stripe. Anthony Rossetti will come home in 5th. Philip Hildebrand will come home in 6th. In 7th position, Christian Schumachak. In 8th, it will be Alexi Aloma. 9th, Sven Glatzel. 10th will be Tobias Zerny. 11th will be Dom Duham. 12th, Martin Asher. 13th, Taylor Dalberg. Andreas Valentius. 14th, Chris Daniel Jr. in the 15th position. Rocco Barret, 16th. Ricky Varsh in 17th. Christopher Volker Jr. will come home in the 18th position. The last car on the lead lap. Ripoliano will come home in 19th. And Wolfgang Woodhall will round out your top 20. What a crazy last lap, boys.
Yeah, that was a bit mental. I think Dave got just held up on that last bit, and he was going to do a last desperate late braking move on the inside on the penultimate corner, but back marker got in the way. I say he got in the way, didn't really have much choice. I mean, he's in the race as well, so yeah, great driving by Dave. Fantastic late braking maneuvers. Yeah, he's the man. He's at the top of the championship.
He is, and of course, just a couple of days ago, Rob, we and I were commentating on Team Inex Racing winning the race department FTC Blue Cup. Now Inex Racing top of the standings in the the PolarGT $1,000 Cup.
Terminators, Skynet, the machines are taking over. Nah, they're a great team, and they're just proving they can, if not 1 series, 2 series, I'm pretty sure you could chuck them in anything. They could race soapbox down a hill and probably beat most people. Such a talented team, and they're all nice guys as well, they're all cool, so it's, they're doing it the right way.
And Dan, give me a drive of the race.
I think driver of the race. It's quite tough for him, really. I think Nobby Kiss did well to avoid the hassle, but I think Dave Geeling, because there's a lot of people you could do it really. Nobby Kiss, Hagner, Linieto, Geeling, they've all had good results today. I think the top 4 really. But if I had to go to anyone, I think it's probably going to be Dave Geeling, because he came back from way back in the field and he's driven a cool, calm, composed race really, and he's got 4th place and it's helped him take the lead in the championship.
And let's talk to the guy who finished just ahead of Dave Geeling. Final Linieto, loads the last couple of laps were absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it was nice. A little bit of racing too.
So take us through your race. I mean, in heat number 2, you started this race from the 6th position after finishing in the 15th spot in heat number 1. How are your 2 races?
Well, I have some trouble with the handling of the car, so it's kind of tough for me. I don't get what I want out of the car. But nice still to be 3rd in the 2nd heat.
And you had yourself and Yoni Hagner, your Glacier Racing teammate, on the podium. Nice to see the Glacier boys on the podium itself. Unfortunately, you couldn't quite have anything for Norby Kiss. Just how fast was he today?
Well, if you ask me, I couldn't do anything. Hagner couldn't either.
And we're going to ask you a final question. Do you know what the difference in management is between Glacier Racing and GlacierTV?
No.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is very simple. Glacier Racing is Yoni Backman and Marco Vitanen. They don't allow anyone who's not finished involved, which is why I can't be working with them. GlacierTV, they have Yoni Backman and Jana Matikayan as their owners. They love English people, which is why I'm here.
Sounds nice. Nothing wrong with that.
True story. Well, there we are. To Panel Lenioto. Going to hand it over to Dan Blake, and he is stood by Mr. Super Alexi!
Alexi, 2 good finishes today. That second race in particular, you had some great battles. How was that racing for you?
Well, it was pretty fun. On the start I lost some positions because of the wreck and had to go through the crash and that kind of things, but it was pretty fun battling for the positions and trying to figure out how to pass here on the outside where you can pass inside. Just trying to be like creative or something.
Right until the very last lap you involved in the action. What happened between you and Martin Asher going into turn 4 in the last lap?
I don't know, probably he tried too hard and couldn't turn enough. I don't know.
You've had 2 good results today. Obviously, it's going to help your championship. But how do you think you're going to get on in the championship now? This result will obviously help you in the further races.
Well, we'll see after I see how many points I got compared to others. But I hope it will continue better in the future.
Thank you, Alexi. That's Alexi Lerma, who has his super cape back.
Who are we going to talk to next? So I'm going to talk to Hagner. Hello, Hagner. How you doing, beautiful?
Hello.
Hey, you got a podium. What the hell happened there?
Yeah. Yeah, I hate this, and I was so off base at the track. What I lost? 10 seconds to Norby or something. Oh my god, that was horrible race.
It was horrible, but you came home in the 2nd position. Now, took us through that race just a little bit because of the fact you started this race at the front of the field for heat number 2 on the pole position. You had Zerny ahead of you. Zerny looked as though he was going to try and go inside you into turn number 1. You were able to keep it going, and from there on in, you fell back 1 position, but you were able to repel the charge from Zerny, and his only Kiss looked as though he can get past you.
Yeah, at the first race, after Norby got a bit contact with me, I decided to give him just the room what he gets, and well, he got past quite nicely. Then I just tried to stay on the track because the setup was horrible. Pushing on the entry and lose on the exit, and that.
And you come out of here with one of your best finishes in the PolarGT $1,000 Cup. 2 weeks' time. Well, 15 days' time, actually. We're doing it all over again. You looking forward to it?
Depends on the track. Yeah, out of my head. Tracks.
Well, you said you hated this track, but you did really well. So,
yeah,
because you hate next week.
here is so hard to overtake that the fast guys cannot get to you. Yeah, so... Yeah, I hate this place.
Yoni, you're the highest placed finished person in this race. You're on the podium. Yoni, interview Yoni in finish. Go.
Joni, sä olit hidas. Kyllä. Mutta tulit silti maaliin kakkosena. Eli mitä hemmettiä tapahtui? Oliko muut hitsoja?
Joo, Tapani piti muita takana siinä alussa ja siinä joku muukin oli Tapani edessä. Onneksi Tapsa pääsi sieltä ohi. Siinä oli sitten jonkun sortin juna siellä, Turulle juna takana ja mä vaan yritin pitää auton radalla ja viivojen välissä, et semmoista.
Oliko mitään kommunikaatio sun ja Aleksin, tai sun Aleksin ja Tapanin välillä tuossa lopussa, kun Aleksi osuili siellä kärjessäni, tai sun takanasi, niin oliko se mitään kommunikaatio?
Ainoa mitä oli kommunikaatio, että jos Tapsa ajaa mukkiin ihan kauhean nopeasti, niin mä päästään se ohi, mutta siinä oli sit kaikki.
Okay, that sums it up.
I agree. Yeah.
I agree as well. Very good interview. Yoni was Yoni there. We're gonna go and hand it over now to Rob Carson. He is stood by with Philip Hildebrandt.
Hey Phil, great racing. Talk us through some of those crazy battles you had with pretty much everyone. It was looked like good fun.
Yeah, hey Rob. Yeah, it was a pretty interesting race. I mean, I tried to avoid everything I could because I had 4 incidents in the last 4 races. Last lap, bump in the rear and lost a lot of places, and so I decided to go really calm and try to avoid everything. And but that allowed a lot of people to stick their nose into everything I opened up, and then I had people in front of me all around, and again a lap 1 mess in front of me I could avoid, and I was pretty pleased that I could stay out of it and bring home a good result. And the first race was the same. I mean, I had a good qualifying lap, and then I decided to just cruise and bring it home in a good position and let Enzo by. So not much fighting from my side, just to get 2 good results to be back in the point standings.
Yeah, it looked like you had a great race car underneath you, and it's a lot of people were tipping you. I think young Mr. Will Vincent tipped you for the win in Heat 1, and you let him down. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I had the pace to beat Enzo at the end. I tried to just stay on the track and keep my fenders clean, and just bring it home. And Enzo was on a run, and so I decided to let him go. My car was good, but also loose. So loose is fast, but also dangerous sometimes, and especially at this track when you go over all the little hills here and the car gets a bit loose, it's easy to spin out. And so I think Chimchuk spinning out in the first race, and so you lose a lot of points. And better to focus on point standing at this stage of the season. So I decided to go for the point standing, for the secure thing. I mean, it's not that type of racing you want to see, but there are so many hotheads in this league, so it's better to back up a bit and let them take them out each other and bring it home.
Yeah, it's controlled racing. I think Yoni had a quick question for you.
Yeah, we just saw in your eyes the start of the Heat 2. Did you actually believe that you're able to dodge all those 5 cars spinning in front of you?
Oh well, I mean, I think it might
I'll
be
take
good
that
to.
as no.
I think it might be good to take Dave Golinka as an example how to do it, because he is always avoiding the trouble and getting out of it with a clean car. And today, I mean, you need luck to go by all this mess in front of you. And I try to see those little the free room in front of me to go through, and I mean it's gamble. You can't really be the guy that always avoiding everything, and Dave did a pretty good job in that for the last races.
This is Rob. This is when you say thank you very much.
Oh, I'll let you do it because everyone's been talking over me anyway. So we're just thanks, Phil. Thanks for your time, and I'll pass you over to Vincent, who's so eager to speak right now.
Oh, shut up. I am going to have a chat with... Who am I going to chat with? I'm going to have a chat with Toby and Zani. Toby, it's a good race.
Yeah, hello guys. Yeah, tough race for me, because I have not that speed than all the other guys in front, or basically in heat second, in the second heat behind me, and I felt like a rolling chicane.
But you started heat number 2 in the second position after finishing heat number 1 in the 19th position. You were to hang there at the start. You almost actually got past Shani Hagman as they came down into China Bend on the first lap. But then, you started falling back slowly by slowly. Just how difficult was that car to drive today?
For me it's very difficult to drive because I'm not used to this McLaren, because I mainly drive the V8. I've never done an official race with the McLaren, I'm only driving the McLaren here in this series. Therefore it's very difficult to keep up with all the fast guys, because the car totally handles different to the V8 that I'm used to. And after the start, the second, it was, I was surprised that Joni came over to the right, so I really had to brake, because it was really close and we would both have made contact possibly, so yeah.
Well, you've had a good race. 2 weeks time we head over to Brands Hatch. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I think, I hope I will have a better flow there than here, because I'm not liking Mid-Ohio, and yeah, but I will shoot for a top 20 in the first race, and then again starting somewhere in the front and try to show up with a better pace there, I think.
Well, we'll see you in 15 days time at Brands Hatch. I'm going to hand it over now to David Ward, and he's actually going to interview Marcus Chirac.
So Marcus, talk us through your race. You had a really interesting run.
I had a very disappointing race. I'm very disappointed. First heat was perfect for me. I don't like this track either, just like many of the other guys, and my pace was very good, especially in the race, and I could keep my 4th position and attack to the front, and everything was very fine. And Phil and me and Sven Glatzel, we talked about our wing settings for the second race, and argued whether to take low wings or high wings, and I thought I would be very much in the front in the second race, because I'm normally quite good in the traffic, but this race ended in turn 1 already. There was a car that spun and stood 90 degrees to the track, and I don't know why he decided to hit the throttle and start all over again, and he hit me, and another guy came from the back with full throttle and made something like a torpedo move and punted me out of the race. So second heat was over after about 20 seconds. So
yeah, that was really disappointing to see that. I think that's going to go to the stewards for further investigation. You said that you didn't like the track. I'm hearing that from a few of the guys in here, but what don't you like about this racetrack? Is it the track itself, or the track and the car combination?
No, it's more the track and car combination. With slower cars, this track is a blast to drive. With these fast cars, it's very difficult to overtake. In fact, you have only one opportunity to overtake at the end of the back straight, and you have the option to use high wings and have a very good and stable car, or you have the option to use low wings to overtake, which makes the car really crappy to drive. And well, it's not the nicest track for these fast cars, I think.
Okay. Well, the next race is at Brands Hatch. How do you feel about that? Do you have have you had much experience on that track in this car?
Yeah, we have three of the German guys of us race in one league together, and we had a league race there some 3 weeks ago, I think. So we have a bit of training, we have a bit of setup work done already. So I think we will compete quite good there. We are looking forward to it. At least I'm looking forward to it.
More so than here. Okay, thank you very much, and good luck for Brands Hatch. I'll be keeping an eye on you from now on, and thank you. So pass you back to Will.
Who have we still got left to talk to? It's like everyone's come to talk to us here today. Tara Dalberg. Hey Tara, how you doing, buddy?
Hello. Doing fun.
Yeah, how's your race been?
Heat 2 was okay, a lot of action. Got to finish the race, unlike Heat 1. So, more or less positive feelings after tonight.
And it's kind of been an up and down season for you so far. But some good finishes. You finished in the top 15 here today. When we go over to Brands Hatch in 15 days' time, you looking for a more consistent part to the middle part of your season, or how do you think it's going to play out? I mean, it's going to be a very tough track there.
I don't really know. I'm hoping for top 20 finishes and finishes overall. Just sucks to be involved in incidents, and actually I caused one in Silverstone, so it really sucks when you do pretty okay, or at least okay in my standards, and finish in like top 20, top 15 even maybe, and then other races you just can't finish because you're involved in some sort of wreck.
Well done, 13th place in heat number 2. We've got to be very quick, because we have got to go at some point very shortly. Sven Glatzel, we've got to talk to you. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, fine, thanks.
We left you to the end. Go on, talk about your race.
Yeah, the first time for me that I finished both races, and that's a big step forward for me after getting penalized in Brasilia. And well, focus today on not on just doing good laps, focused more on getting safe through the race. And I was a little bit struggling with the setup because I used in the first race I used the Phil setup, and in the second Marcus ones, and they both didn't fit my driving style well. In the first one I had problems in the third sector with much oversteer. In the second race it was the opposite, a lot of understeer. And so, yeah, there was not quite much attack from my side. I was more focused on defending. And, well, at least I'm happy that I'm finished both races, and trying to pick up a good pace in Brands Hatch.
Well, good luck. We'll talk to you a little bit later on, and we'll see you over at Brands Hatch. Unfortunately, that is all we have time for in the 2 heats from Mid-Ohio. We'll be back, not this coming Sunday, in 15 days' time at Brands Hatch for heats number 9 and 10 of the championship. 1 minute. We had today a number of interesting moments. We saw for the first time in the series aggression really come into play like never before. Really unrepented anger from a couple of drivers, but we also saw some good racing as well. Norby Kiss winning heat number 2, and we saw Ender Benito win heat number 1 for INX Racing. Dave Geeling is your new points leader. So we'll see you at Brands Hatch in 15 days' time. Don't forget also, GlacierTV, your home for the 2013 iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series. That'll be back on next Saturday at the Green Hell VIR. Talking about VIR, we'll also have a little bit of Neo Endurance Racing tomorrow with Dan Blake. That'll be tomorrow afternoon here on GlacierTV. For myself, Will Vincent, say goodbye to all these nut jobs as well. Rob Coss, first guy to talk as high as Liam Jenkins in about a year. To David Ward, who really does like those yellow sausages. And also to Dan Blake as well. I haven't got anything funny to say about you. I'll just say from the West Country, that's funny enough. Myself, Will Vincent, Yoni Batman, see you all later. Bye!